29 days, 10 teams, 1 trophy. Tonight, that trophy goes on the line when Australia and New Zealand clash in the final of the Rugby League World Cup. The Kangaroos have strolled into the final, beating all comers with consummate ease.
And now Bolau will launch himself. They look pretty pumped. They look pretty confident.
Slater up his left, Slater up his right, and Slater scored. They put it on a show at the Telstra Dome.
The Kiwis have had some nervous moments along the way, but still enter the showpiece match with the momentum of 3 straight wins.
And there's the big cutout ball, the money ball. Oh, super play, super vision. Vartuvai for a hat-trick. He's got there. Here come the Kiwis. Oh, Harrison pulls for a hole. Great bit of footwork. He blows this game wide open.
2 teams and 1 game. That's all that is left to find out who will be crowned world champions.
Brisbane City, the centre of the Rugby League World tonight, November 22nd, 2008, and all eyes on the Rugby League World Cup, the 13th time this trophy will be played for between the 2 best nations, arguably, in Rugby League, New Zealand and Australia. It is all on from Suncorp, the World Cup final, the Kangaroos against the Kiwis. And how good does it feel, New Zealand, because it's been a very exciting week. The Kiwis, they'll come in unchanged from last week and looking to try the unorthodox, many are saying, against a Kangaroo team that have been brimming with confidence and have been talking about bashing Benji and bombing Lance O'Hire. They have made some changes, critical changes. They've also lost 2 key players, and for home fans, 2 Warriors out of this World Cup final. Brent Tate earlier in the week and Steve Price yesterday with a torn calf. Hello there, welcome to the Rugby League World Cup final. McIver and Rowe Party once again in the seat for this one, and pretty much pumped, but no Tate, no Price. How does that affect their game?
Price is a big loss. The analogy that they've used over here at the moment is likening it to the Sydney Harbour Bridge minus 1 pillar. Momentum is the key to this game tonight. Not having Steve Price on board, while perhaps it brings them back a little bit closer to the field, it's a big step up for New Zealand.
We are in the favoured place of our caller Costa. He's sidelined with DJ, and I suppose many times, Costa, you've been here, but how does this final rate in your grand scale of things?
Stephen, I tell you what, biggest game I've done since the 2002 Grand Final. A man who knows all about Grand Finals, big match atmosphere, World Cup campaigns. Chuck Halligan, what's going through the minds of the players as we speak?
Well, I hope there's a calming influence in there. I just spoke to the team manager and Gordon Gibbons, and I said, how is it in the changing shed there? He said, DJ, it's very calm. Calm, just like it is before the storm. And then the players come out. Manu Vatuvai killed his first bomb of the night, so they're getting their little skills prepared, which is a good sign.
This the 54-year gap since the first World Cup final, of course, and for many players, a lot of these younger players, not sure if they realise, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
It is a huge opportunity. Written off as well, Australians go in as huge favourites into this match, but we're expecting, some sort of ambush from the Kiwis.
I tell you what we were expecting was a storm in storm-ravaged Brisbane all week, and I tell you what, I'm no meteorologist, but right above me, above the cauldron right now, clear skies in the River City, no storm, let's get it on.
Yes, that probably will favour the Kangaroos, who come in as unbackable favourites into this World Cup final, who've had a pretty good run to the big show.
Australia started their campaign with a 30-6 win over New Zealand at the official opening of the World Cup. They then travelled to Melbourne and put 50 on a disappointing England.
Straight up, floats into the back line, floats over the try line.
The Kummels gave everything in Townsville, but the Kangaroos maintained their professional attitude to run out 40-point winners to set up a semi-final match against Fiji. The Barty boys had no answers for the Australian pace, and the men in green and gold scored another half-century. 4 matches, 4 wins, 180 points scored, and only 3 tries conceded. No one.
So here is the way that the Aussies got to the final, and it has been a pretty big cruise. In fact, that record almost mirrors their 2000 effort when they only conceded 14 points. They've only conceded 16 this time round, and they certainly come into this tournament heavily backed with lots of fans. But Pete, I suppose if you think about how New Zealand can beat Australia tonight, the word unorthodox keeps cropping up.
And when you talk unorthodox, perhaps so much of the talk is also centred around Benji Marshall as well. He's the key to the side in terms of being able to undo the lock that could very well find success. You saw on the table there, you looked at the performance, particularly the defensive record of Australia. 16 points conceded in this tournament. That's how good defensively they are, and we haven't even started to talk about how hot they are with the ball in hand. Benji Marshall, he's the boy.
Yes, will they bash Benji? We shall find out. But for the Kiwis, it's a side that are trying to win 4 consecutive test matches in a row for the first time. Here's how they got to the big one.
New Zealand were touched up by Australia in the first match of the campaign, then got their act together on the Gold Coast to beat Papua New Guinea 48 points to 6.
Isaac Luke, this live wire, shut the gate. That could well sink PNG.
The following week, the Kiwis were in Newcastle to face an England side trying to get over the flogging they received at the hands of the Kangaroos. And they got off to a flyer, leading 24-8 at half-time. But the second half was all Kiwis, with Big Manu running in 4 tries as New Zealand took the win 36-24. The following week, the Kiwis and Lions were at it again in the semi-final, and it was nearly the complete opposite, as the men in black got off to a great start.
There's a try to row party. It's all New Zealand in this World Cup semi-final.
And then they had to withstand an England comeback. But it was never quite enough, as the Kiwis booked themselves a spot in the 13th Rugby League World Cup Final.
Which you are watching live on Sky Sport as we head to around a 10 o'clock kickoff at home, and that's how they started. Not the best way to start, but I was talking to one of the Kiwi staff after that first game, and Peter, they simply said to me, yeah, okay, we can afford to lose this one. It's the big one tonight, the Rugby League World Cup Final. If we make it, which they have done, that really does count.
And they've made it quite clear as well that they're not here to come second. Throughout this tournament, we've talked about improvement. Each week we're seeing a little bit more. And again tonight, well, tonight is where you've got to turn up to the big dance and you've got to have your game in order. Those who have played, I guess, to their best, they have to play better. And everybody else, well, they need to be at their best.
You can sense the tension running around this ground, even in this booth where we are at the moment, because we are building towards a final. On a ground, by the way, that had about a foot of water. It was under a foot of water last night. Such has been the weather here in Queensland that areas are in disaster control mode. The Kiwis come into this with a pretty strong lineup, the one they believe can actually do the job. Hohaya, Perrott, Mannering and Rowe Party in the centres, Vatuve, Marshall and Feen. Kalis, and arguably his last ever World Cup appearance, Luluwai and Blair complete the front row. Fa'alongo, Harrison and Jeremy Smith. Onto the bench, Isaac Luke. He's got the new cool haircut. Eastwood, Rapira and Sika Manu. They're coached by Stephen Kearney.
Steve, New Zealand, the underdogs, but what's new? For New Zealand to win tonight, what do you have to do well?
Yeah, we have to do a lot of things well tonight to, to get a good result. So, again, we've got to probably try things a little differently, and we'll be, we've got a plan that we're confident if we execute well, then we'll certainly give ourselves a good chance.
Recent history suggests you have to make a good start to the match. It's too many times in tests against the Kangaroos you found yourself down 12 and 18 points. That's been drummed into the players.
Yeah, certainly. You look at the way Australia have played for the last month. They've skipped away to very impressive starts, and it's very hard to come back up once you're 12, 18 points down. So that has been a focus this week, but we know we've got to make sure we continue that for an 80-minute period because. As you've mentioned, they're a very good side, and we have to do things well tonight to get a result.
Well, just finally, this is the biggest match of your very short coaching career. What's the last thing you say to the players tonight?
Yeah, I mean it's a great occasion. We're playing in front of a packed house, and for them to enjoy it. It is a special occasion, and that's that'll be certainly my final message is to make sure they enjoy the night.
Well, Steve, the Kiwis deserve their spot in the final. All the best.
Thank you. Cheers. Mate.
And some things never change in the game of rugby league. Plenty of talk about being unorthodox, but you've got to earn the right to go wide. You've got to go through them first. But look to the start. This perhaps won't win you the game in the opening 20 minutes, but it'll certainly go a long way to ensuring that you don't lose it. The start, that'll tell you about whether or not they're here to play.
Yeah, last 4 matches against the Kangaroos, the Kiwis have failed to score in the first half, so we watch that one with interest as we look at a changed Australian lineup, but does it matter? Are they any lesser? Are they any weaker? Slater, Monaghan's played every minute of the tournament. Inglis, Folau and Williams comes in for Tate. Lockyer in test number 45, second on the all-time Australian list. Thurston and Kite, Smith, Sivanasiva, Stewart, Lafranc and Gallen passed on the cork thigh. Hunt, Tupou, Fitzgibbon, and the surprise to many, Wattsmo in 22 instead of Perry. They are coached by Ricky Stewart.
Ricky, it's been a wonderful tournament for the Kangaroos, but I guess you'll feel like you've achieved nothing if you don't win tonight.
Yeah, 100% correct, Vossi. And we've spoken about that too. The guys have been outstanding in their performances and their attitude right throughout the week, preparing for each test match. But unfortunately, it all hinges on tonight's result.
some scintillating attack, but the amazing stat, 3 tries conceded in the tournament. Defence, is that the first thing that you worked on going into tonight's final?
No, not really. It's it's something we've spoken about all series. That comes a lot from the attitude, the tough attitude the players have got. But we did do a lot of work on defence this week. Fortunately, the players have they've bonded to it very quickly too. We know that we've got to be very smart around the ruck tonight. We know Benji Marshall's a big threat to us, so we've got to be really on in regards to our defence. But we've also got to score points, and we've got a very good attacking team. But we need to make sure it's on song tonight. Going back to your first question, that tonight's the dictator of all results, and it's going to hinge on who wins the game tonight.
And finally, Ricky, just on the changes you've had to make, as disappointed as you are for Brent Tate and Steve Price, you must feel something for Anthony Watmough and David Williams, a chance to complete an amazing year.
Well, I know what it feels like, because it happens to a lot of players. It's happened to myself, and it's unfortunate for other people, but then you get the chance, and it's fortunate for you, and you take the jersey and do everything you possibly can to make sure you can keep it.
All right, well done so far. Good luck tonight.
Thanks very much, Fozzie.
And in the local Courier Mail, the newspaper here in Brisbane this morning, the ARL have suggested if Ricky and the Kangaroos win tonight, it's a job for life for coach Ricky Stewart. But how do you beat the Kangaroos? Well, here's DJ and Ropo's thoughts on that.
And Stephen, and understandably so as well, white-hot favourites they are. Many suggesting that this is arguably the best green and gold side that they've seen for a long time. That says a lot. But tonight for New Zealand to have success, well, they've got to make Australia uncomfortable. And DJ, for me, that starts with momentum.
Well, they need to start their sets with momentum. Of course, Perrott will get it going after a run from Kalis to start the match, but then Luluai comes into it. He needs to run and then find someone on the end of it so that they can play the ball. Thomas can then run again, then shift it to Benji. That's unorthodox attack.
Quick play the balls, being able to resist finding yourself facing up to a set defensive line. If you do that physically, they'll smash us. You've got to be able to change your point of attack and then go to our D game. This is where it all starts. We've got to put plenty of numbers into the tackle. We've got to slow them down.
I want to see Manu Vatuvai and Perrott on the outside play a really narrow game. This will stop the pass, hopefully, from Lockyer and Thurston. If they can do that, forget about the numbers on the outside and arrive when the ball and the man come together, we can stop them.
The accuracy of our defensive game has to be spot on. We've got to resist. We've got to be able to take away the offloads. They're very good at it, and what we've seen throughout this tournament, plenty of width, and once they get to Lockyer and Thurston, our kick D, that has to be spot on.
Our kick D will be spot on tonight. They would have done a lot of work on it all week. Now Thurston, watch him on the show and go. He's the best at it in the game, and guess who'll be on the inside when he does? It'll be Billy Slater.
Then we go to territory. We've got to be able to play the right end of the park. We've got to find something.
We don't have a kicking game that can compete with Australia, hands down. Smith out of the 9 position in Origin 1 this year. New South Wales smothered him. Didn't get a kick on his left-hand side. We need to do that. And in our game, well, when we get to the middle of the field, no point putting up a bomb unless there's someone contesting.
Okay, and we've been talking about all week. Plenty of pressure on the back three in terms of receiving the kicks, but it's about Benji magic tonight. It needs to come to the fore.
We've all wanted him to do so well at this World Cup, and tonight he gets another opportunity. He can't do it on his own. He's shown us some glimpses. I want players inside and out him. I want to see him handle the ball the most at the back end of the set of sixes.
He can shift across the face of the right. Somebody needs to find the hole. So, Stephen, whatever they do tonight, more importantly, those who've been playing at their best need to be better, and everybody else, they need to be at their best.
Thank you, boys. Nice job. How about some other Rugby League icons with their thoughts on how this one might unfold at the inaugural Rugby League International Awards due on Monday night? We asked their thoughts on who might get this one.
The Kiwis, expectation, they're underdogs. They can be fairly relaxed in their preparation. All the pressure's on the Australian side. Anything can happen in a final, and just got to get out there and put your best foot forward. Make sure that you compete. Every play you're in, and bounce the ball might go your way.
Well, you have a look at the way that the Australians have been upset in a couple of games. It hasn't ended up on the final scoreboard, but Australia were well in control of a game that they played against England in Melbourne. Did that pretty well. It was 16 points. I think they were leading at one stage, and then the Poms started to throw the ball around. There was no structured attack about it. It was just do your best, and the Australians they cracked. The Pommies got a try, and I think the Kiwis are quite capable of doing that as well. And when you got Benji Marshall in the side, a guy that can create something out of nothing, well then anything's up for the decision.
3 years ago, Tri-Nations final, Ellen Road, the Aussies were just going to walk it. I think it was 24-0 to the Kiwis. Oh boy, did that sound sweet if you're a New Zealander? Of course it was. when you're given no chance, it's amazing how the underdog can come up and bite you on your backside.
I think you've got to go for the pack. I think when you come over here and you play Australia, I think anybody who's played against them will tell you you've got to stand up, you've got to look them in the eye, and you don't walk over me. I'm going for you. And I think they've got to go for that pack. Without disrespecting anybody, I think the front row is very strong, but I think the back row is a little bit like that for an Australian pack. I think you've got to go in there, I think you've got to mix it, I think you've got to upset them, and you've got to stop them laying the platform for Thurston and Lockyer. And if you can do that, you'll be halfway there.
League legend Mark Graham delivered the shirts last night to the team, and he gave them a stirring emotional speech. Look to the start. That's where it's all going to happen this afternoon. Some little differences, they suggest.
All right, get ready, New Zealand. Two countries are about to go to battle in Brisbane and Suncorp Stadium, the 13th Rugby League World Cup final. You are a part of it live on Sky Sport as we bring you memories of a lot of colour down under in 08.
"54 years after the Rugby League inaugural World Cup kicked off in Paris, the lights of Brisbane are shining tonight here in the Queensland capital for the game's international showpiece finale. First time ever that the Rugby League World Cup's been staged here in the Queensland capital. We are live from the place that I referred to as the Cauldron, Suncorp Stadium. It's the final of the 2008 Rugby League World Cup. It's the Kiwis up against the Kangaroos. The green and golds, 9-time winners of this tournament, and New Zealand conversely looking to break their duck after getting through, brushing aside England in last weekend's semi-final. Final instructions from coach Stephen Kearney, but the Australians, Daryl Halligan, understandably raging hot favourites for this one.
Plenty of thought around the Queensland area that Australian will romp in with this one. Plenty of functions also around Suncorp Stadium. Just over at one with 1,000 people in it. They weren't too happy to see a Kiwi there. Their lineup is like this.
This is how it looks, and there is a change, of course. No Brent Tate, nor his brother-in-law. The two Warriors, Tate and Price, are missing because of injury. Kite comes off the bench in 15. And look at that bench. Watmo is the replacement player. There is no specialist prop forward on the bench for coach Ricky Stewart. The captain, Darren Lockyer.
And all New South Wales back row predominantly dominated by Queenslanders, this team, especially out wide. Slater, the big guys in the middle, they look like two Meningas. Folau and Inglis, they will be very, very hard to contain.
We've just seen big chicken George Mel Meninga and the team of the century, the Australian team of the century, being paraded before the faithful here. Let's have a look at the Kiwi side for this one. A lot of pressure on Marshall in the 6 tonight. Feen in good form, Kalis to lead from the front as usual. And they are as per the program, and the coach, of course, is Stephen Kearney.
Nothing new to what we've seen over the last couple of weeks, really, in the squad. The rise of Stephen Kearney as a coach. Any job that is mentioned in the NRL now, Stephen Kearney's name is aligned to it. Here, his biggest task today, a World Cup final.
Well, it's been a long time between drinks for the men in black. They have, in fact, won here since 1987. I reckon, Peter Roparty, you are still at the peak of your powers. Come on in, your sideline tonight.
And there's an interesting shot right now with Darren Lockyer addressing the side. He was quite vocal throughout the week about recognising that time catches up on all and how important these next matches could be, because they could very well be your last. And what a way. He's been an absolute champion, not only for Australia, but for state Queensland and for his club side Brisbane as well. This is fitting, and this tells a lot. When you look at pictures, you know Australia, they're up for it. When you look at the start, New Zealand has not scored more than 6 points in the last 8 tests between themselves and Australia. Now, the first quarter, you certainly can't win a game of footy, but you can go a long way towards losing it. The start is so important tonight, if New Zealand is going to be anywhere of a chance in this battle.
Great pictures here of the Cauldron, the holy mecca of rugby league. Wonderful venue, former graveyard, state-of-the-art venue, and a sellout crowd for this one in a storm-ravaged Brisbane. No sign of the Storms tonight, they tell me. The radars look okay. The fans, that will please them, no doubt. And the Kangaroos, I'm sure they'll be relishing a dry track.
Marvellous pictures we saw before of Darren Lockyer addressing his team. Of course, many a test under him. Was it a swan song? A fly on the wall. Would love to know what was coming out of those lips of Darren Lockyer. Marvellous player. And it's been a late walk up here, Costo. It is filled in the last 5 minutes, predominantly green and gold.
That is no surprise. They've come from far and wide for this. We heard from Nathan Fiend post-match last week. He had relatives coming down from the north of Queensland. They've come from far and wide. Sprinkling of the Barmy Army, who would have been disappointed not to see their side go round here tonight. And just on Lockyer, it's his 45th game for the Kangaroos, equal second all-time with the great Changa Langlands. And Meninga, the only man in front of him, on 46. That is some big stat.
And when you talk about nerves and anticipation for perhaps one of the biggest games that many of these young players here are going to face up for tonight. I just spoke moments ago to Jason Nightingale. Too nervous to stay in the dressing room. Too nervous to stay and be part of something which is very, very special. David Fa'alongo, he's been playing big as the tournament's gone on. Look to a big performance from him. Simon Mannering in picture as well. But again, as we saw in the Australian dressing rooms, some telling moments through the words of Darren Lockyer. Here, through silence and perhaps through prayer, something special.
It'll need something special tonight, no doubt about that, from this Kiwi side. The odds stacked against them, but they've been there before. You go back to 83 under Graham Lowe at this very venue, and of course in 87 under Tank Gordon. And even more recently, of course, in 2005 at Allen Road, when they were given no chance whatsoever. And the form guide went well and truly out the window. And here in Queensland, they've become accustomed to upsets, really, since the birth of Origin here, 28 years ago, seeing the underdog conjure up the unthinkable.
As you run through the teams and look at the personnel individually, we can't beat them. Collectively, possibly we can. Sad sights here. There's Bob Fulton. Of course, the legends of the Australian team for 100 years have been led around.
Well, it's one of the members of the team of the century. I suspect it could be Changa Langlands, man I just was comparing to in relation to Darren Lockyer, and Bob Fulton, rugby league immortal, showing a lot of concern for his dear friend. Let's hope all is well there. Let's watch the two captains bring them out, Lockyer and Kalis. Kangaroos and Kiwis here for the World Cup final of 08. Wonderful scenes, great theatre, and we saw the original King just a moment ago in Wally Lewis gracing the ground. Huge roar went up, and I dare say Darren Lockyer is justifiably the king of this new millennium. Hometown hero, will this be his green and gold swan song on home soil, particularly in this day and age of players heading to the UK? Once in a lifetime opportunity for both teams tonight as they form here for the respective national anthems.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and welcome international recording artist and creator of the opera supergroup Amici Forever, New Zealander Jeff Sewell, to perform the New Zealand national anthem.
God of nations, at thy feet, in the bonds of love we meet. Hear our voices we entreat, God defend our free land. God Pacific's triple star, from the shafts of strife and war, make her praises heard afar. God defend New Zealand.
Well, that gets the expats pumped up. You see the trophy there. It was lost in a dump in the UK for 20 years. It's certainly looking pretty tonight, as is Suncorp Stadium, as we now get set for Advance Australia Fair. Well, in this part of the world, they love their Broncos, they love their Maroons, and they sure do love their Kangaroos.
Not quite so popular on the haka, and that'll be next. Let's see what Australia do. They'll stand and receive it with a true test of respect. Well, haven't we seen some antics, some pre-match antics throughout this tournament over the past 29 days? And that's arguably the best moment of the lot. The challenge issued, and the Australians, Daryl Halligan, responding in kind. And that's how it's done. When someone throws down a challenge to you, you throw it straight back at them. Australia advancing right up to the halfway line, and New Zealand continuing their march.
Ashley Klein from the north of England is the man in charge, keeping in mind he is Aussie born and bred from Sydney's western suburbs. The Kangaroos will get us underway off the boot. The golden boot of Darren Lockyer. Kangaroos defending the southern end of the ground, the Milton Road end of the ground. Let's get set for 80 minutes of pace,
power and passion. The World Cup final is underway, and it's Blair who gets collared, monstered, somehow offloads in traffic. What a rip-roaring start in the opening 20 seconds. Suspect tackle it was. So Ashley Klein giving players, at least the Australians, some liberties already. And now the New Zealanders just beyond the 30 on this opening set. Kalis, the captain, to play it back. Now zipping away Sam Perrott. And he takes play 8 short of halfway. Coming up out of the line quickly, Gallen. He was under an injury cloud all week. There's Perrott getting back to his flank position. On the last, they'll go to Nathan Feen, who's been outstanding form. Back-to-back man of the match honours. And a kind bounce it is for Williams, and the Wolfman offloads in kind back to Slater. And the International Federation's Player of the Year, inaugural Player of the Year, plays it back. And now hitting it up is Israel Folau.
Perfect start for the Kiwi side. The kick down the middle of the field saw them advance it to the halfway, and of course they were going to kick to Williams first up, replacing Tate out there on the wing. He got his first touch.
Sivanasiva plays it down, and this is Kite, played for Tonga last World Cup. He is the replacement for the injured Price, who missed out tonight because of that calf problem. Alongside his brother-in-law, Brent Tate, the boot of Thurston now finding the deck, and it's a good bouncing kick into the in-goal, but just too much. Just a little too much from Thurston, and much to the delight of Hohire. He just lets it go dead in goal.
Thomas, wait!
Let's go sideline, 2 minutes gone, no score, Ropo, packed house. This should be a ripper.
Well, an absolute ripper. When you look at the way that the Australians received the haka, and on the back of it, they were embracing one another. They had got out of the haka what they wanted, and certainly a start to show plenty of confidence. And right there, we've just seen the second offload in as many minutes. Last week up against England, 2 offloads for the whole game. So maybe what they hinted at coming into this game tonight, what we'll see in the opening quarter, is a little bit more of shift in that ball.
Certainly a little bit of creativity from the get-go. Blair showing that creativity. Maybe a sign of things to come. So the New Zealanders now 6 metres. Australia's side of halfway. David Fa'alongo plays it back. Lulawai hands it on to Marshall. Marshall looks to split them back on the inside. This is Vartuve, the beast, centralising play, and he's captured by his nemesis in Williams, who's had a stellar season, hasn't he, with Manly winning a premiership and now getting a call up to his national side. They go to the heavens. Monahan has a good look and a good catch. And look at him go. He beats 1, he beats 2, he beats 3. He's still going. What a kick return from the Canberra Flyer.
Great kick return. Too easy the catch. Perfect from New Zealand the attack. A short side raid with Benji Marshall trying to find Vatuvai, and then Monahan swallows it and gets it back outside the 20.
3.5 gone. The Australians up to the 30-metre line. This was Marshall taking the line on. Bash Banji. That was the catch cry from the Kangaroos coming into this one. He certainly needs to stand up and deliver tonight. And a clearing kick now off the boot of Cameron Smith. Chance of a 40-20 must be cut off. It is done so, courtesy of the fullback in Hohire. And look at the reception committee. Oh, just going a little high initially, I thought might have been Glenn Stewart.
DJ, you talked about one of the things that the Kiwis need to be up for tonight, and that was about recognising the threat coming out of the acting half of Cameron Smith, a left side kicker. While we just saw an example there, no pressure and an opportunity so close to coming up to a 40-20.
Wasn't far off the mark. Speaking of the mark, it will now be advanced. There's a penalty against the Australians. Brent Kite not impressed with Ashley Klein, forced to retreat. Here's the replay. You at home be the judge. Nothing really in it, but again, Ashley Klein, he's saying, this is what I want. Not a bad touch finder either. They go on the attack. 35 out from the Australian goal line, attacking the southern end or the Milton Road end of the ground. This is Feen handing it on to his captain, Kalis, the only survivor from that World Cup decider at Old Trafford under Frank Endicott 8 years ago. He plays it back to Lulawai, and now Blair to the line. This time he thought about the pass once more, but sanity prevails, 15 metres out. He plays it back. Options left and right. They go the ladder. This is Fiend. They've got runners. Hohire injecting himself. Running at the line, 2 metres short. Make it 3. Pressure now on the green and golds. Slow play the ball. Fiend's got it at first receiver. Then the kick towards the upright. Chance of a try. Marshall claims the try. And they'll check the tape. I reckon he's missed it. The idea was very, very good. But I think the execution has let them down.
Great play, Costo.
Klein wants to check the tape, and so he should.
The kick through from Fiend off the outside of his right foot, maybe aimed for the post. Was he onside? And right here, the ball sat back on him. Did he get it with the elbow? Wishful thinking, but no control. Had a crack at it and had to. Difficult to have a go at a ball that's bouncing on the ground and on its point. Hits him on the chest. You can't see control on that. But boy, perfect execution. A play to the right and come back to the middle of the post.
Steve Ganson from the UK is the video referee here tonight. We can expect a red light. Players from both sides already awaiting the restart in hostilities, the resumption in hostilities. Australia up to the 20 for the tap restart. And there's confirmation. So a real let-off, wasn't it, for the Kangaroos? After just 5.5 minutes, still no score. And now making inroads, LaFranchi, the Gold Coast Titan. That's a big, big surge. They can't stop him.
Went straight past for a party like he wasn't there.
Plays it about 5 short of halfway. Thurston crossing the midway stripe. Chopped down by Fa'alongo on the far side of the field. And now Gallen with a bit of a fend. Part of this leadership group with the Australians. There's another one. Lockyer, leader of the pack, leader of the side. Slater, Monahan on the end of this backline move, has to cut back in field. And he goes to ground on the 30. Inglis, acting half. Thurston back on the inside for Kite. Banged down by Blair with the help of Kalis. And the 5th and final has been signalled. Smith, Thurston, cut out ball. Lockyer, pressure building. Oh, big hit. Vartuve on Slater. Did you get the number? The number's 1 if you missed it. And this is Perrott.
Marvellous. Get the tow truck. Big Manu. There's the contact.
Shades of Francis Melly.
Well, he had to make some decisions. There were 2 parked outside Slater. He made the right one. He pretty much got him as he got the ball.
And it's good to see when you talk about playing the Kangaroos, it's about doing your homework. So it's about recognising their big plays and being there, prepared, ready to be able to nullify it. Monahan, he's had a couple of good carries. This is another one of them.
Yeah, and all because of failing to find touch. I won't harp on it, but I spoke to Mark Horrow, who was part of the Kiwi side. As I recall, that won here last in 87. And I talked about finding touch, getting to your kick. Well, there you go, in the opening 10 minutes. Can you believe that? This is the granite-like body of Sivanasiva thrusting at black jumpers 25 metres away. A switch from Lockyer to Thurston, now involving Slater. Such creativity from the Australians, keeping in mind the 1, 6, 7 and 9, all Queenslanders. Now Kite, proud cockroach, New South Welshman for those newcomers to rugby league. He rises to play the football. They stack the short side. Thurston takes them on and gets wrapped up on the last. Great defence from the men in black.
Good defence. Israel Folau, who plays on the right side, had actually drifted over to the left side. They were trying to put Inglis and Folau together in a backline movement down the left-hand channel. And in the end, he wasn't required, so Thurston took it to the line. Good D, attacking everywhere. Blair, his turn. This time he'll hold it. 2 hit-ups, 2 offloads.
So the New Zealanders now with Marshall. And there was a little bit of criticism. In fact, let's rephrase it. There was a hell of a lot of criticism coming his way in terms of how many times he didn't take the line on last time these two sides went round in the opening weekend of the tournament. Kalis plays it back. They go to Fiend. He launches the kick between fullback and winger. It's a big, big kick to, will it pull up? Bouncing ball, just too deep.
Did well, Nathan Fiend. There's a little bit of pressure on him. Wasn't the normal pressure courtesy of someone like Stephen Price. Just gave him an extra yard to kick the football. Got a good clean contact on it.
This is Williams, who has had a big shave since the club season. In fact, he was resembling Harry McCleary from Donaldson's Dairy for most of the NRL campaign. He's found the Remington after the grand final. Well done to him. Smith hands it on now to Gallen, running at the teeth of the New Zealand defence into enemy territory. Smith now going to Thurston. Stewart. Another Sea Eagle. Quick hands from Slater. Now pressure passing. Give the defence a wrap. Here's Folau. They chop him down. Oh, Big Manu says, I gotcha.
He's unorthodox, but he's hassling them, putting pressure on them, and it's got to continue.
Gallen continues upfield. Legs pumping like pistons. Finally, he is trapped by the defence. That tackle took some time. The referee probably was tempted to blow the whistle for a penalty. Now Lockyer with that left boot, the trusty left boot, launching his kick. Gobbled up at the back by Hohai. He gets around with consummate ease away from Kite before he is put away by Seven Asiva.
Confidence booster for Lance after last week. Parrott out of dummy half. He normally makes good yards. Lance last week, of course, coming up with a couple of uncontested spills. Saw him out in the pre-game, got 5 or 6 spot on.
Will do his confidence the world of good, no doubt. This is Vatu Vey. Cast your mind back to last week. There are the coaching staff. Kearney alongside the super coach, Wayne Bennett. This Vatu Vey took some time to get engaged last week. And now another clearing kick off the boot of Fiend. He keeps it on the carpet, and it'll be a kind bounce here for Slater. Let's see what he can do. No chink in the armour this time, Ropo.
No, but a big tick for the defensive team at the moment, doing everything right. At times looking a little sort of not having the accuracy when they go in, allowing the Kangaroos to continue to find the progress forward, but of late, putting them on their back, taking the speed out of the ground.
11 gone in the World Cup final of 08. Kite doing the hard yards for Ricky Stewart and the Kangaroos. Speaking of that, this is a man who's done it for a decade or thereabouts. For the Broncos, more recently Penrith, Queensland and his country, Seven Asiva. Thurston back on the inside. Stewart, Slater. Slater spots a gap, goes through. Now it's a one-on-one. He's got pace to burn, takes them on. Vatu Vey had a play at the football, but Lockyer gets the scraps and Lockyer gets the try. It started with Slater and it finishes with Darren Lockyer. The captain strikes the first blow, his first try of the tournament, and the Kangaroos will play from in front in this World Cup final.
A run across the back of the ruck from Glenn Stewart. At the up and in defence. All tested. Slater just put them on their heels. Away he went, far long on the outside. I thought he had blown it here. He had players queuing up on the inside earlier. Lockyer was one of them. The ball comes off Manu Vatuvai, tried to get a hand to it. And Lockyer, Johnny on the spot. Backed his pace to Slater. Ohio was up to the task. But the ball back on the inside. Good start to this football match. New Zealand defence is good on that occasion. The footwork and speed of Slater, just a little too much.
Well, you talk about stories. It's a real Cinderella story for Darren Lockyer. From Roma in Western Queensland, came down to the Broncos all those years ago. Raw talent, was exposed to a bit of Aussie rules as a kid. Not much of him. You ever see him up close and personal, you're quite amazed the stature of the man, that it's what's inside that counts. He had a bumper harvest, didn't he, Thurston, against the Barty at the SFS last week. It was one hell of a romp. Thurston, 3 tries, set up 2, save 1. Not a bad night at the office, was it? Now he looks to convert the Lockyer try. 21 out from goal, 15 in from touch. He has missed it. It remains 4-0, Kangaroos over the Kiwis after 13.
And throughout this tournament, Billy Slater, he's been impressive form, 7 tries. and all of those coming in his 3 World Cup appearances. He set so much of us up. When you talk about no substitute for pace, well, again, he proves that to be exactly it. Lance Ohio was on, and sometimes a bit of luck. The Kiwis have had 2 chances. They've missed them. The Kangaroos, they get their first chance, and they convert.
Back live now. This is Kite on the kick return, throwing himself at the Kiwi chasers. Gets play only to the 10. This is Seven Asiva. Luluai in the thick of it, playing a dummy half hooker. Of course, normally in the halves for Wigan in the north of England, and his country for that matter. Ropati makes the stop on Gallen, and now Lafranchi hits it up. Big contact, wasn't it? And it was David Fa'alongo. You wouldn't want to meet him in a back alley in Brisbane. This is Smith.
They're targeting Jerome Ropati down their right-hand edge, sending Lafranchi and Gallen at him as Lockyer kicks back across the ruck. Ohio onto his left, finds it pretty easily on the full. New Zealand, a little bit of composure. They're starting to get worked over. They'll need a few outside backs here. Vatuvai, possibly Ropati. Ease some of the yards, ease some of the defensive pressures.
So the New Zealanders now, safety first football. And Bronson Harrison, who's made every post a winner in this tournament, keeping in mind this is a bloke who was not even included in the original World Cup squad for the Kiwis. And I know his uncle, Clayton Friend, who was part of the Kiwis' last triumph here in the Trans-Tasman battle, would be tickled pink with his form of late as they find the line, the Kiwis, and set up to pitch the tent.
The Kangaroos have plenty of shape and certainly well understand the structure that they play this game of footy. You talk about targeting the likes of Benji. There's more of an insistence that you keep on going down the short side, knowing that when it's ready, they've got a back line that's deep, it's wide, and what has perhaps been demonstrated throughout this tournament, their biggest threat is when they're able to get it to the centres, when you get Inglis or you get Folau in full flight, and even Monaghan on the back of it. So they're a patient football side. They keep dragging, playing the short side, then set it up.
So the Australians now off the scrum, working play away. And we should point out that it is a very typically balmy night here in the Queensland capital, a real Trans-Tasman sporting feel to the River City. Of course, the cricket well and truly underway. Intriguing match it has been at the Gabba. A very balmy night here, typical of this time of the year. And the run up to Christmas, the run up to the wet season. The Australians now 10 short of halfway, and they work the short side, and the Wolfman's away. Look at Williams. Williams has got too much pace. He hits the afterburners. Boy, oh boy, what a year it's been for this rookie from Manly. The Aussies get their second try of the night. They work the blind, and they profit from that. 8-0 kick to come.
Decision making on the edge, down a short side in defence, can be difficult. Big Manu Vatuvai gets this one wrong. After attacking the right-hand channel of Benji and Jerome, they go again. Watch Smith out of dummy half. Who's he got there? Slater. As they move up, he throws the ball right across the face of Folau and Williams. He's got plenty of speed. Now the defence was interesting. Marshall decided to go for him, which left Ohio on a limb. He didn't even contest him. Too easy.
A couple of weeks ago, he bagged 3 on debut. I was there at the ground with a smile on his face. He was grinning like a Cheshire cat. Bagged 3 against the Kumals on debut. And of course tonight getting his opportunity because of that hip flexor problem that has cruelled the ambitions of one Brent Tate. Williams getting the try, showing there is no substitute for pace.
The first try, well, that was a touch of luck and some brilliance. This one was hard to swallow. Simple numbers on a short side. And Manly Flyer shows us his wheels.
Straightforward shot at goal here for Thurston, and he bangs it over. And the reigning world champions hit double digits after 18. It is 10 points to 0.
And right from the outset, the critical period in this game was the opening quarter. 18 gone, 10 points down. And again, they show how good they are, being methodical, being persistent, going down the short side. You don't deserve to get that break. You don't deserve to be able to break it apart and go down. The little things they need to return back to, slowing them down to play the ball and addressing. And again, another error. One of those things you can ill afford, kicking out on the full.
And it's come off the boot of Marshall. Someone will be calling for the Makita chainsaw after this. Brent Kite showing how you do it. You cock one leg in the field of play, or at least in the in goal. The other one can be stuck out. So he earns his team a gift penalty on the halfway line. And again, I spoke to Mark Horrow pre-match. We spoke about things like that. And in the opening 20 minutes, the Kiwis are under the pump, schoolboy errors, and the touch finder is a classic. Look where they are, 10 metres away. This is Stewart. Stewart backing himself into this New Zealand defensive line, 9 metres away. Battle stations now for New Zealand. Cameron Smith back to Seven Asiba. Thundering towards the goal line. He takes him, stopping this Colossus from Penrith. 5 metres away. Gallen at first receiver. And nothing play. And he is enveloped by 3 defenders. No, he's not. He flings the ball out the back door. Lockyer steadies himself, goes to Thurston, and he dummies to Stewart, and he takes the tackle of Harris. 15 away. Inglis claps on the pace. It's Falau, I beg your pardon. Look at him go. Caught me by surprise, caught the markers by surprise. That was a near thing.
Well, he's nearly dragged 4 Kiwis over the line with him. When passes are flopped out the back, it can spell danger. Falau from dummy half, 15 out, showed us his strength.
Not entitled to do it, not at this level. He's been ordered to play it back on the 10. Interesting call from Klein. So he must have been held up. This is Kite. And now the 5th and final has been signalled, so that really was a near thing. Smith now on the last, a dab. Lockyer for a double, he gets it! Smith with a judicious kick, and Lockyer claims another 4-pointer. It's all the Kangaroos.
Possibly a fortuitous second try for Darren Lockyer. A little left-footed kick close to the line from Smith. No problem with the onside. Just dabs it right down in front of him. Little channel there. Lance O'Hire tries to check the road, as does Blair. Doesn't seem to be a problem.
Well, the referee was in great position to make the call, but straight away he's referred it to Ganson. The end on replay should prove conclusive, and he's lost it. No try. I repeat, no try, and Ashley Klein, take a bow.
Well done. That's what the video ref's for. He used them. New Zealand will get the benefit of it, but again, it was a little bit easy. Courtesy of Benji Marshall, kicking dead off the kickoff. Australia camped themselves down here, looking for their 3rd try.
Well, the game needed that. Steve Ganson has only one option here. It'll be a red light.
And the second occasion, Cameron Smith has got involved, looking at the left foot, and again, nearly finding a result. They need to be able to take the progress out of them. And let's hope that this result, in the way it's flowing at the moment, doesn't require a half-time talk to arrest the slide. They need to find some answers, and they need to find them quick.
Well, if we had Panasonic Cup football, we'd have quarter time, and the Kiwis would be copping a blast. 40 minutes either way, though, in this arena. Lucas on the ground. He's relieved Thomas Luluwai. There he is, scooping the ball up, serving it up for Fa'alongo. Blair also getting a spell, hence the arrival of Sam Rapira. They dummy to Rapira, and they go to Kalis instead, and it's Fitzgibbon, the freshman on in 17, making the tackle. On the last, they go to Feen at second receiver. On the deck, the ball bouncing around. Monahan has to scamper. He'll have to play at it. No, he won't. No, he won't. Cool as a cucumber. And that's an excellent result. Or did he force it? He has forced it. Well, from up in the box here, I thought he had it all under control.
A last-minute decision to grab it. There, the ball hadn't gone dead, and he's standing with his foot in touch. Good call. Great kick. I was just about to ask Nathan Feen to throw it up and contest the football, because when we haven't contested the football, Monahan's brought it back with ease. but he found the right length.
Sensational result for New Zealand. Big restart from the Aussies. And here comes Calis. Frankie and Folau and Fitzgibbon all combining. Here's Rapira, his first touch. Nice hairstyle.
Great run. That's what we need.
Smith hits it up. Tackled on the 20-metre line. There's Sam Rapira, direct from the barber shop here in Brisbane. Luke distributing the ball to Marshall, holding up the pass for Fa'alongo, who sucks in 3 defenders, principally Folau. Now Benji looking to weave his magic, goes to Rapira. And Fiend threading the needle. Oh, chance out wide for Perrott, bouncing ball. Could have gone anywhere. They'll get 6 more, the Kiwis.
Entertaining. You watch his kick. He knows Perrott's out there. Monahan will try and cover it up, and it's anyone's. Batted out. Who'd that come off?
What's come off?
Mannering thinks he's got one.
I think it's come off Perrott initially. It certainly has. Certainly being forced by Monahan. And the Australians are questioning the decision here, but Klein is insisting we've got to restart from under the horns. Big kick from Lockyer again. And it's Vartuve. Look at him wind up. Wish I had a clock like that. The old-fashioned variety, that is. So New Zealand now. Some heavy contact once more. It was Luke, I think, on the receiving end on that occasion. Now Calis will be trapped by Fitzgibbon and Stewart and Cameron Smith. They peel off one by one. Luke going to Fiend. Bodies in motion. And Harrison goes to ground. Stopped by Seven-a-Seaver, 12 metres shy of the goal line. Smith takes them on. Smith, a barnstorming effort. That's how you do it. The lock forward's gone straight through them. The Australians found wanting soft defence right up Main Street, and the Kiwis are on the board at the Cauldron.
Who was going to do it? We were starting to look for Vartuve or Rapira to dent the line. And the lock forward in Smith. We know he's got some footwork. They set it up as they come back to the left. Didn't need anyone at all. Straight through. Attention on one of his runners. Gurney gets up for sure. Even Wayne Bennett. A little bit of emotion there. It's rubbing off.
Settle down, Betty. Settle down. Long way to go.
Just when you were thinking who was going to bust this Australian line, Jeremy Smith's name didn't particularly come on the radar. Ruben Wiki gets with him. A noted defensive player, really, as Isaac Luke, who had come onto the field a few minutes ago to replace Luluwai, will line up this kick.
And Jeremy Smith showing the form that's lured him to St George Illawarra to play under Bennett in 2009. The kick from Luke is successful, and after 25, it's game on. Australia 10, New Zealand 6.
No, he's been in wonderful form, Jeremy Smith. Certainly has the ability to put his nose through the line and often looks for an overload. But here he gets a little bit of a push through, just enough to find his way over and get the 4-pointer. And when you talk about Bennett, how happy he is, let's not forget last time, 2005, he was on the receiving end of a result there by the Kiwis.
Back live once more, and Lasso higher. Give him a shovel. He dropped a couple last week, and now he's come up with a most unfortunate spill, the poor lad.
Well, Lance, the posts are in the equation. He started outside. When you catch a football, you should be walking into it, not walking back away from it. Under pressure, did it to himself.
15 before the break. Pressure back on New Zealand. First drop out of the night for the Kiwis. This is Seven-a-Seaver. It's been largely an error-free display thus far from the 9-time world champions. Stewart working the blind side. Look at him go. He's come along in leaps and bounds under Des Hasler at Brookvale. Thurston back on the inside. This is the old stager, Fitzgibbon. Of course, he can play up front. That's where he'll be playing a lot tonight, given the light forwards on the bench. Smith, menacing, isn't he? 8 metres away, attacking the Caxton Street end of the ground. Lockyer's got it, holds up the pass. Oh, smothering tackle from Harrison. Thurston bombing the wing of Artuve. High above the pack. Here's a try in the corner. Pass on the inside to Williams. Folau looked to set it up. Now a bit of argy-bargy, but no love for the Kangaroos.
There was magic brewing. Lockyer got hammered on the right-hand side, so Thurston kicked it over to the right, and right here, Yorsha flick from Folau. Realises he's not going to get there, tosses it back infield. Stacks on the mill. Williams sees the opportunity and can't grab it.
As soon as Folau got the ball with those big mitts, I thought the try was on the cards. It wasn't to be. And again, a let-off for Stephen Kearney and the Kiwis. Eastwood's on the park. Carlos gets a spell. And Perrott goes for a sortie. Chant goes up for New Zealand now. The expats finding their voices. Rapira brings it upfield with great gusto. Fair run, wasn't it?
It was a good run, and it was good service from Luke as well. He made a few yards.
And Marshall now. Oh, play on's the call. I can't believe it. Fa'alongo back to Ropati. He plants the ball and claims the try. They reckon the ball's been knocked out by a kangaroo. They play to the whistle, and we will check the tape.
Has to be, for sure. Benji Marshall, after some good lead-up work from Rapira, Luke throws a step on, a hand comes out and rips it out, well, stripped.
It's certainly been shot out as if it's come out of a cannon.
Well, we go silent. To be ripped out like that?
Well, technically, was it a one-on-one or was it a two-on-one?
Either way, play on, ripped out.
Well, that's fair enough.
Kiwi score.
I've got nothing.
Play to the whistle.
It's 10-10. I'll just go to the back of the room. I thought, from first impressions, I thought he's overcooked it here, and I think just about everyone here at the Cauldron thought exactly that. But they've had a play at the football, they've had a good chop at the football, and the grounding's perfect. It's his birthday tomorrow. They can't deny Ropati.
Move it forward. It'll be his birthday this evening.
3 tries have been certainly within his capability in the past. We know that he can get across the line. If he gets 1, he can get a sniff, get 2, then 3. He's got 1 on the board here, surely Ropati. Yes, we are locked up. We are locked up. Plenty of heckling for Steve Ganson in the video referee's box. It's 10-10 with a kick to come. The Kiwis with a chance to take the lead for the first time in the World Cup final.
What I liked about that was when Isaac Luke ran, he actually found someone. He didn't run into a dead end. He found Rapira, and it was Rapira who put himself through the line to generate the momentum of the play.
10 caps, 10 tries. The numbers do not lie for Jerome Ropati. And some classic heckling now from the banana benders here in Queensland. They're fueled up on the local amber fluid. I'll give you the tip. They make it down the road in copious amounts. And I reckon the trucks have been loading up here at the stadium all afternoon. Luke should get it, does get it. They are in front. New Zealand, I repeat, have hit the lead at 12-10, 12 before the break.
And if you think the Kiwi fans are delighted, well, spare thought for the Australians. There's only one word being yelled out right now, and it certainly starts with the letters bull. But you've got a Kiwi side which is about playing the opportunities, playing the moments, and Jerome Ropati with 10 tries from 10 test matches, well, he's my second cousin tonight.
Well, that scoreboard, it's no ball, it's 12-10. I don't mind giving the referee a spray here. You cast your mind back to the halcyon days of origin, and that's a penalty, and that's a fair call. Sam Rapira was on a hiding to nothing, and Ashley Klein correctly gives the penalty. And those faces tell a story after they led 10-0 the Aussies.
A bizarre passage of play. Sees the Kiwis hit the front, and a couple of little niggling mistakes in this Australian side. Exactly how they wanted it.
You go back to the good old days of origin. Plenty of beer cans have rained down on this piece of real estate. I think the first time ever I've seen Andrew Johns cheered here at this ground before kick-off. This is Eastwood. 3-1 is the penalty count, favouring the visitors. Eastwood plays it back. This is Marshall, the architect of that try. Oh! Vartuvei's had his head ripped off. Kite has collared him. He didn't miss.
The trainer, the New Zealand trainer, is darting onto the field as we see Kite right up around the melon of Manu. LaFranchi in there as well. Well, the trainer was running on the field with 2 fingers in the air, saying go for 2, but they've kicked for touch.
Let's see what they've got. Here's Rapira, 4-1 the count now, and they're only 9 metres away, 10 short of oranges. Marshall has coughed it up. Good tackle, great technique from the veteran Fitzgibbon, forcing the mistake from the New Zealand standoff and the pressure off the Kangaroos.
It was Fitzgibbon who missed the tackle on Smith. He's just made up amends. Great technique. Now Benji's start has been, well, a little bit all over the show to this match, but he's got to keep going. He's a confidence player. He can't get down on himself. A couple of his touches, missed touch, kicked out on the full. He's got to continue to play.
Australia 2 points in arrears, but remembering they've won their last 8 Trans-Tasman matches. No joy for the Kiwis since that final of the Tri-Nations at Allen Road back in 2005.
You can probably also add to that, Costa, when you're talking about stats, that Australia's not tried at half-time in its last 13. And now another penalty to Australia. And now it's the time. If the Kiwis are going to be in with a shot, they need to be able to put some effort on effort. They need to find a little bit of extra.
They'll need to D up big time.
Can they repel them? There's a green and gold tsunami coming their way. Smith with the tap, Stewart with the charge. This is tackle 1. Mannering there, making the stop. Thurston giving it on to Fitzgibbon, whose career has really been rejuvenated in the last 12 months. Thurston holding up the pass. He had a runner in 16, steaming onto it. Tupou 10 metres away. Not sure what's going on here with the Australians. They look rudderless on this play. Thurston is easy meat for the defence. Stop by Fa'alongo. Lockyer, cut out ball. Stewart can't pop it out the back, and the last has been signalled. Smith to Thurston, and now the kick. Vartuvei has to shut it down. He can't get the ball. The ball's gone loose. Ropati kicks it away, and it's a knock-on against the Aussies.
He did well, big Manu. That isolated Manu and Folau. What about these 2 big giants going at it? Folau gets up and above, but just the contest. Oh, and the landing, you wouldn't want to be underneath it. But in that set of 6, Kite got in the road. Thurston wanted the ball, and the front row of Kite got in the road for this Australian side to disrupt it.
No landing gear on that occasion. Nose hit the tarmac hard, didn't it? Ouch. So New Zealand now with Eastwood off to the Leeds Rhinos to play under Brian Bluey McLennan in 2009. Now it goes to Perrott. He is ragdolled by Tupou. And now zipping away, Luke, who had so much zip, doesn't he, when he comes off the bench, looking to catch the markers. Offside, perhaps. The referee Klein says, let's get on with it. The last now coming up. And it's Nathan Feen providing the kick straight down the throat of Slater, who links up now with Williams. And the Wolfman looks to bust them, but not this time.
Pressure on the kicker of Feen. Sees the ball go straight down Slater's throat. Folau trying to get himself into the game. He is dangerous. Where's Inglis? He'll be wanting his turn next.
He's had a rather subdued match thus far. This is Fitzgibbon now. 12 short of halfway. Thurston turning it back on the inside for Glenn Stewart. Links up with Kite, straight up the gut, standing and offloading. In traffic, back to Inglis. Cut out ball, goes to LaFranchi, now to Folau. They keep it going! Here's Williams, takes on Vartuvei, but there's support provided by Ropati.
Those balls from Glenn Stewart back across the ruck are causing New Zealand all sorts in their defence.
Kite pops it out the back. Quick hands, Lockyer, Thurston, Tupou, now across to Watmo in 22. Watmo still going, and Lockyer goes in, and this time he won't be denied. And this time he puts the Aussies back in front. 14 plays 12, 5 before the break. Razzle-dazzle from the world champions.
Brilliant try. Just mentioned the run of Stewart across the back of the ruck once again. Puts the defence of New Zealand at 6s and 7s, and then they come to the left. A simple drop-off and offload. Lockyer hands through, and then the run of Watmo. Checks inside, keeps finding players, doesn't deliver it, and then a nice little short ball. The Manly substitute wasn't required to start the match until the withdrawal of Stephen Price. Got a call up, delivers a nice little short ball. Wouldn't he be happy? His captain in waiting, right through the line. You betcha, he says, finger in the air. And Lockie gets another.
So Darren Lockyer, trialist coming into this one, in this tournament that is, has a brace already. Could have easily been a hat-trick for the captain. Test match number 45 in what has been an amazing career. Thurston nails it. Lockyer applauds. So does the Emus, as they call them. It's 16-12 after 36.
There's no doubting the career of Darren Lockyer, one of the best. You've already mentioned his 45th test tonight. Puts him second equal with Graham Langland's, only batted by Mal Meninga sitting on test number 46. But it's the skill of the back rowers, LaFranchi, Watmo, who are able to change position, change the point of attack, and also provide that ideal link between the outside speed.
There's Watmo. Many of the so-called experts thought Josh Perry would have been the man to come up onto the bench. It wasn't to be. And this is Inglis, who gets somewhat of a grapple tackle there. Some groans from a few of the fans here at Suncorp. Sikamanu maybe pushing the envelope. This is Fitzgibbon now, 6 short of halfway. Watmo with another carry. He was full of running when I saw him take on the Kumals during the preliminary matches in the so-called pool of death. Lockyer, quick hands, the back line swinging into action. And here's Israel Folau, bumping run, got rid of one. Now a little bit of a goose step from the big man. Thurston's got the ball, no obstruction, play on's the call. Lockyer doubles up, he keeps it going, almost lost the handle before he's rounded up by Feen, and that should be a penalty. No way, says the referee, and Lockyer can't believe it. Knock and the fans. Thurston goes to the heavens. Vartuve lets it go over the sideline. That was somewhat of an anticlimax.
A dangerous set of 6. Dangerous through the fact they're unable to stop the offloads and the little passes from Lockyer and also Thurston. They've got some attacking in them. If you invite them into a game of touch football without stopping the football, your defensive toll's going to take its toll.
So New Zealand now need to just make sure of it now. Some quality carries. Vartuve there would have been sucking in the big ones when that kick was launched. This is Mannering now going to ground. So Oranges not too far away. And when you really look at the scoreboard early on and how New Zealand was travelling, it's not such a bad situation. Kiwis 4 points in arrears after being down 10-zip.
You can't call half-time already. You can't clock off. 2 minutes is a big time in a test match of rugby league when you've got an attacking ability the likes of Australia.
Marshall will play it back, and New Zealand now with Luke, who's rounded up by his opposite hooker in Cameron Smith. They'll get to their kick here. And not too convincing, though. And Slater there, just for a second, I thought he might spill it off the boot of Feen. Slater picked off by the chasing team, led by Feen. He's really given the Warriors, I think, something to think about, despite the imminent return of the great Stacey Jones. Here's Williams coming in from the right wing. Look where he is, not far from our commentary position. Chook, I don't think you did that in your career.
Their runs are simple. They're hard. They're just trying to bust the line at every opportunity. They're what makes them so good. They'll play off the back of it. Danger time here.
I was just kidding. Don't get too precious. Here's Cameron Smith. He is anything but precious, teasing the marker defence. The Melbourne captain, who of course missed the grand final because of suspension. Tupou takes them on. Oh my goodness, what a shot that was. Big tackle indeed coming in from Sammy Rapira. And now Thurston, all the time under the sun, got the kick away. Vartuve, could be a mix-up. No, Perrott, the other winger, he's got the football. He offloads back to Hohire, and he puts the ears back. Look at him go, the custodian.
Marvellous kick. Good chase on it too. It was a big spiralling bomb. Took it easily, and then to attack back off it. Marvellous.
Luke at a dummy half towards halfway, repelled by Fitzgibbon and Lockyer and Kite. Eventually they bring him to ground. 1 metre Australia's side of halfway. Marshall throwing the pass. There goes the half-time siren, and that will see us out. Sikamanu, the final play of the first half, an intriguing first half of the World Cup final. 10-0 to the Aussies at one stage, but at the split, the Kiwis are in this game up to their eyeballs. Australia 16, New Zealand 12 at Suncorp. Stay with us. First half highlights from the Cauldron right after this.
Infinite, live Sky Sport. Check guides for times.
At half-time, it was the Kiwis that with an attempt to strike first. They looked pretty good, but then the Australians just started getting into their groove, and Billy Slater and co just started to really run the New Zealanders about. It was on the back of the Slater break that they scored first through Darren Lockyer in minute 12.
Well, perhaps a little bit of luck, but for most parts of this game, the Kiwi side have been able to do perhaps what they needed to do more importantly, and that was about making life a little uncomfortable. But Australia's shown that when given the opportunity, they'll make every opportunity that comes their way, they're able to convert it to points. This one taking the short side and getting the result. Cameron Smith being afforded just a little bit too much space. Lockyer just denied.
Darren Lockyer denied in the 20th minute. Then on the back of a number of repeat sets of 6, the Kiwis do score. They had to score at this moment. Jeremy Smith, the first to score, a nice little short run. And as you can see, the reaction from the Kiwi coaching bench, one of satisfaction. Then a weird moment. Benji Marshall going to line, stripped, play on, try.
Well, the key to this one is about playing to the whistle, and they did exactly that, and able to get themselves back in the game. Jerome Ropati on the back, but Thurston, he's been in check for most parts, been under control. But when they start to get a little bit more excitable, start to see a little bit ball movement, the second phase play, the back rowers particularly having the ability to provide ideal links to the outside men or being able to take it back in on the inside. Watmo, his involvement in that was big.
And the psychological advantage of scoring just before half-time will certainly favour the Kangaroos going to this half. Jonathan Thurston out of sorts. Twice the Kangaroos have been caught on 5.
Touched on it. It's about making them feel uncomfortable, and that's about harassing, getting in their face, and they've done exactly that with Thurston and even Lockyer to a certain degree. The other player that perhaps they haven't controlled as well as they should have, that's Cameron Smith. Getting out of the acting half, being able to get them on the front foot, plenty of momentum, that's when they start to look a little dangerous. He's the catalyst for so much.
One player that's a little bit scary is Greg Inglis. Is certainly every time he touches the ball he looks dangerous, but as does Billy Slater. Billy Slater on his kick returns, they haven't really pushed Billy Slater around up. He's dangerous, and if you've noticed, I think on 2-3 occasions on that first kick return, Pete, he's offloaded.
For most parts, they've controlled Billy up the back, and Billy's one of those sort of players. He works so hard to make things happen. He's quite able to get out wide to be able to pick it up on the back end of a movement, but also equally as competent coming in, forcing his way in around the ruck. On this occasion, providing a good link
and finding Folau. Folau, every time he goes to the air, the nice little battle going on between him and Manu Vatuvei there on the left-hand edge, both proving to be quite outstanding in the air.
Kiwis are muscling up though on D, and they've had to because they've been under swathes of attack from the Australians. Watch Bronson Harrison come off the field. He's probably played about all 40 minutes. He looks absolutely buggered, but they have really done the work. Particularly, I think, I'll come back to them, I think they've done the job on Thurston.
They've done the work defensively for most. Again, I keep using this phrase for most parts because they keep copping off. It's about coming in for the second 40. They're going to be able to stay. They need to stay in the game for 40 minutes. We've seen episodes where they've been able to put numbers in, but their accuracy, that's when the offload starts to come. That's when you know perhaps their defensive game is not as good as they want it to be, but they have showed moments. Rapera, he got involved. Steve Rapera, or Sam Rapera, reminds me so much, and we talk about 83 and 87 the last two times we saw him here at the stadium, while back in 87 as a Ross Taylor. Rapera, he reminds me of him.
Are the Kiwis in this one? How close? I mean, I know it's only 4 points, but you get the impression that every time the Australians touch the ball, they're on the back foot and they're really having to struggle to stay in this one.
Being in this game was about the first quarter, while when you come to halftime, there's still perhaps a margin that is not too much out of their reach. They're well and truly in this game. They've got a huge amount of confidence when you look at the scoreline. They need to arrest the problems that were in there. At the halftime, they needed that right now. But know that when you come to the beginning of the second 40, the Kangaroos are going to come out with a little bit more. It starts all over again.
You might have to suggest Benji Marshall's going to have to step it up again. He's gone to the line a lot more than we've seen him. Kicked out on the, didn't kick out on the full. Gone to the line a number of times. Ball security is a worry, though. Go with that.
Well, what's noticeable for me is perhaps the absence of Steve Price and the Kangaroos perhaps not getting that directness that they would have got out of Price, and it's allowing players to be able to find their movement. Benji, while we've been waiting it throughout the whole tournament, you know he's got the touch. He just needs to put it all together, and something special could very well come on the back of it. Anything's possible out of Benji, but he needs to be able to find it. He needs to deliver it. He's got 40 minutes.
Half-time in the 13th Rugby League World Cup final. It's the Kiwis trailing by 4, 16 points to 12. Inside the Kiwi dressing room, there's another great 40 minutes of international footy coming your way. Stay with us live on Sky Sport.
West Indies Tour of New Zealand, coming soon, Sky Sport.
16-12 at half-time in the Rugby League World Cup final from Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane, and take a look at the numbers, and particularly the error count, and also probably tackle of the opposition 20 and maybe missed tackles as well, Pete. 24 missed tackles by New Zealand. Defence is going to be critical in this second 40 and to stay in the game because there are a lot of tired legs out there.
When we talk about the things that need to be completed, and they need to be completed well to be in this contest, defence was a big part of it, and the accuracy of their defensive game. And that's not only about in their kick D, but it's about in general play. What we've seen as the game's gone on, we're seeing Cameron Smith being able to get out of the acting half just a little too easy, being able to find good progress. So either side of that ruck, whether he comes with a kick, whether he comes with a run or the pass, we've got to be able to shut him down. Once we allow them to go a little bit freer, the offloads start to happen, and that's when the missed tackle count really starts to build up. Ricky Stewart there right now, he'll be talking about his side about just coming back to the way they started. They started strong. You talk about Jonathan Thurston getting a little unsettled. That's about them feeling uncomfortable. The Kiwis need to find a little bit more to make them feel even more uncomfortable, and nothing better than a try line or a score at the end of it. Yeah, you talk about Jerome Roparty's birthday. Well, Grant's having a birthday. Everyone wants a Kiwi result to give him the best happy birthday. But defence, that's where it's got to start.
Yeah, it certainly is. The kicking game of Nathan Feen too. A little more direction probably required to maybe split Monaghan and Williams, and also Slater at the back.
When I look at kicking game, it's about looking to ensure that Nathan's got a platform to be able to execute the kick. A couple of times they're getting a little bit closer. You can only imagine if Stephen Price was on board, he would certainly put a hell of a lot more pressure. So give him a little bit more. That's about what he plays on the back of. Give him some good go forward. Give him a little bit of momentum out of the acting up. Then find your kicker. And Nathan, while he showed he has got length in his kicking game, and it's been not too bad.
Yeah, the teams aren't too far away from coming back out here onto Suncorp Stadium for this 13th Rugby League World Cup final. An amazing atmosphere here. I got to say, I have never experienced a haka like that when the Kangaroos faced off to the New Zealanders, and honestly, you probably couldn't really feel it at home, but every hair on the back of the neck went up, and it was just outstanding. I mean, this place literally lifted off.
Well, we've had so many moments in 40 minutes, which has been quite special. You talk about the haka. It probably started with the national anthem as well. I thought that was outstanding. Plenty of emotion shown, and it was about the Kiwi sort of encouraging the crowd to sort of get involved. But this here, and the way that the Kangaroos responded, that was outstanding. They got out of the haka as the English perhaps got what they wanted out of it as well. They approached it very different, but it was wonderful stuff.
That's what we saw, and the emotion that was drained out of this 57, 52, 55,000 odd crowd was unbelievable. And you know, we were worried that maybe that would fall back in the hands of the Kangaroos and work their advantage, but as we saw early in that first half beat, Kiwis were almost first to strike, so really interesting way they handled it this time round.
Well, we shouldn't overlook, we talk about making the Kangaroos uncomfortable. There's 4 or 5 captains on board in their starting lineup, so in terms of being able to regather, regroup and find some shape, there's plenty of experience to be able to guide them the right path.
All right, time to go back upstairs. 40 minutes for ultimate glory. Who's going to be the world champion? The Kiwis or the Kangaroos? You're about to find out live on Sky as we rejoin DJ and Costo.
Thank you, Stephen. Yes, in the words of Tears for Fears, everybody wants to rule the world. Well, we will find out just who will be ruling the rugby league world in 40 minutes from now.
Interesting for me, Costo, to see the pictures of Wayne Bennett hands-on in the shed. Did you see him pushing up with his hips? He was talking to the guys on the inside of the ruck. When the ball goes one side of the ruck, everyone on the other side continue to move forward. A big play in their defence.
So Marshall has the tee set. The last 40 minutes of the Rugby League World Cup of 2000. And it's the Kangaroos with first use of the football for this second stanza, leading 16-12. Let's hear from one of the Kiwis on the sideline tonight. He'd love to be out there. His name's David Kidwell.
Dave?
We'll just hold the phone there, Kitty, and so too you, Ropo. Hold the phone, as they say in the classics, because Eastwood's 5 metres away after a spill. Now a dusty pass out of dummy half. But the Kiwis have still got the football. Fiend plays it back. So New Zealand now with a great opportunity to draw level. Ball gets floated to Fa'alongo, takes on Lockyer, so too Falau, goes to ground 4 metres away. They'll swing it back the open side. O'Hare at first receiver, now to Marshall. There's that characteristic stepping and weaving. Light on his feet, isn't he? 10 metres away. Kalis, Fiend, Rapira, chopped down by Thurston. Vital tackle it was. 5 metres away. They come back the left side with Fiend, and now to Marshall. O'Hare chiming in. Cut out ball. Great ball. Is it a money ball? Vatuve had nowhere to go. A valiant attempt to score, but I reckon he couldn't get there.
Great tackle by Williams. They've wanted to do this. Put Manu one-on-one with the new man in the test team, or in this arena, should I say, in Williams. I don't think he got there.
Well, he wasn't entitled to get there, but geez, he's closer than I thought. A lot closer. That left foot is in the field of play, but I reckon his knee's gone out just before maybe he's got it down.
Valiant effort. Couldn't get his body weight down, and the attention of Williams up in the air suspends him in the air. Still got that left foot in miraculously. And Shaw.
Well, Steve Ganson's having a real good look at this one, and so he should. Is it simultaneous? Well, I think that constitutes a try, if that isn't how he sees it. And I reckon it's no try, because that knee, that left knee, has hit the green stuff outside the field of play. Hence, it will be disallowed. That's my gut feeling on what I've seen. That's the evidence that's been put forward. That's my call.
But you're an Aussie.
I am, but I work with you.
No try. They've gone. This will be the 10th one.
You live here too, I might point out.
They must be checking the grounding now.
Oh, geez, they're checking a lot of things. Well, they're checking for grasshoppers. We've had 400 mils of rain on the ground in the last few days because of these storms, so the grass has grown. The grass might have just stuck up there for the white ball, the Steeden, to constitute a try. This could go either way, and I reckon it's a nervous wait here for Kearney and Bennett. Ganson has the call, and arguably the biggest call of the World Cup. He's already had one big call with the try to row party. Here we go. No try after all that.
Well, David Kidwell, obviously at the beginning of this contest, it was about the start. Well, they responded in the second 40 as well.
Yeah, they have, mate. And, you know, Wayne and Steve talked about, you know, these big games are won in the first 15, 20 minutes of the half. And we've started well. Unlucky to Money there scoring the try. I wish that benefit of the doubt had gone in our favour. But, you know, the boys are, you know, we're going for no regrets here. And we're going to go for an up-tempo game. So we're looking forward to it.
Mate, listening to you when you're watching that last sort of sequence of play, you're talking about patience and you kept saying patient.
Yeah, look, we completed 83% of our ball, which is you need to against Australia, so we have to be patient with the ball, keep turning up in defence, and hopefully we'll get into the back of the game.
But you're feeling good?
I'm feeling great, mate. I wish I was out there. Good on you, mate.
Yes, I suspected so. Now, thanks to David Kidwell, one of the mainstays of this Kiwi side for so many years. And I reckon he'd be walking over hot coals to get out there tonight. Wasn't to be. This is Kite. And they put him on the broad of his back. Good, heavy defence it was. Farlongo showing how you do it. Lock your back on the inside. LaFranchi from the Titans, former West Tiger. Premiership winner, of course, with the Tigers. A metre short of halfway. Fifth and final coming up now for Cameron Smith. And the left-footed kick of Smith turns out well for Australia. Vartuve, I'm not sure if he had to play at the football there. He'd like to have that all over again. He tries to barge through them, bust through them. He got back into the field of play, but, geez, I think he would like to have it all over again.
He didn't need to play at that. Could have let it bounce again. Had too much rotation on it. Would have gone dead. Ropati plays it on the 10. Their chance to work it out. Perrott makes good yards, as always.
Well, that's 3 tackles gone. They haven't got up to the 20 where they should have been. Had Vartuve let that ball bounce one more time, as you call it, Chook. This is Eastwood now. Just short of the 30. No change to the half-time score. They floated across to Mannering. Mannering takes them on, running at Inglis and getting some support, Inglis, from Thurston on the halfway line or thereabouts. And now they get the kick away off the boot of Fiend. He's really come to the party tonight in that respect. This is Slater with a little bit of a drop at the back, but it was a knockback. Fair enough. Good call, the right call, and they put him to ground.
Nice play to go down the right-hand side on a blind side to Mannering. Gave them good yards on their last play as Monahan brings it back. A little fumble from Slater. Has he got a couple of nerves pumping through there? Fiend, end-on-end kicking.
3 gone, second stanza. This is Williams, just his second test match, and they test him out. He's lost the ball. He fails the test, at least on this occasion.
Eastwood stands over him like a mammoth as Isaac Luke gets himself involved as well. Gives the Manly Flyer a pat on the head, says, don't worry about the beard, it's coming back. I'll rough up your feathers. Here it is here, solid hit. Good contact. Eastwood. Well, the ball ends right up on his shoulder. The damage was done underneath from Luke.
Fantastic technique for a little man. If you're a slightly built footballer who plays backyard footy, well, that's how you do it. 5-5 the error count. Almost 5 gone. We're in the opening 5 of the second stanza, and this is Hohai now, who's been put away, 35 metres away. Manu to crash and bash his way up field. Can't go too far. He's stopped by Kite. And now Kalis running at Fitzgibbon.
3 plays, but no real momentum, Costo.
Looks like he's been winded. The captain, Kalis, slow to his feet. Back for Luke. Throwing it across to Marshall. Back on the inside. This is Eastwood. He takes the tackle. 18 metres away. What have they got on this set? Marshall, Ohio, Ropati, and now the last. Fiend at first receiver. There's the kick towards the uprights, and it's a clean catch at the back from Thurston, who diffuses the situation. Very clinically, very professionally.
The only trouble there was Inglis as well, right over Thurston's back. Kalis, no wonder he was slow getting up, absolutely hammered. They didn't want to go to Perrott out against Monahan on that far right side as Tupu makes a good charge, an easy 10, 12 metres into New Zealand's defence.
And I think when you look for variation in your kicks, you may not want to go to Perrott, but certainly go to certainly a kick to Simon Mannering would certainly find a little bit more of a result. He's got enough height to contest in the air.
I think we need to kick up the bum of the touch judges, Rope, after what I've just seen.
pass that seemed to be forward. I think everyone here on either side of the ground was accepting of what was going to happen, but the referee touched us. They've all missed it. Fitzgibbon's been taken out as a decoy. Seems to be fair game. Now the last, there's the kick off the boot of Lockyer on the deck. Vartuve with the catch, picks it up cleanly, brings it back to the 20.
Well done. They tested him out. They wanted Manu. As Perrott, his wingmate, has come in from the far right-hand side to get that ruck started again and pulled a penalty. This is Fitzgibbon. He finds the shoulder of Manu. It'll slow him up a bit.
And it's a tap and go, 5-2 the penalty count of the Kiwis. Marshall really catching them out. Now it comes across this left side to Fa'alongo, and he's captured by Falau.
Good play, unorthodox.
Blair running at green and gold jumpers. Sivanasiva and Lafranchi involved. This is Luke going to Rapira, takes a buffeting, pops it back. Now Marshall onto Eastwood. He looks for an opening. There's nothing there. He takes the tackle. Good charge, though. 8 metres away. Battle stations here for the Kangaroos. Fiend keeps it going. Hohaya, cut out ball. And now Perrott on the right wing. Nowhere to go. Takes the tackle. And fair enough. Good stop on that eastern side of the ground from Inglis. The kick charge down, the kick from Fiend. Is it 6 to go? You betcha. This is Hohaya, and he does not panic.
Goes straight into the Thurston with the Maori speed bump. Straight over top of him for a little guy.
This is Blair, a dummy. No one's fool. He'll be wrapped up here. Kite working overtime in defence with the help of Tupou. He's lost the ball. Oh, he got a helping hand. Chance to have a shot at goal to come within 2 points or keep the pressure on. Chance to square the ledger, maybe hit the front. It's a tap and go. Here's Rapira. 6-2 the count. Ricky Stewart, he'd be blowing up Deluxe. 2 metres away. Luke goes to Fiend. Head down, bum up from Fiend. And the Warrior will rise to play the football, not far away. Hohaya should score, goes for the line, got it down. Lance Hohaya has stepped up to the plate with a big play, a Herculean play to square the ledger in the cup final. 16 plays 16, and it's certainly game on at the Cauldron.
Unorthodox attack, exactly what you're after. Little men close to the line within the 5. They attack Lockyer. Sivanasiva comes across and Slater again can't tidy up. Boy, oh boy, if you've got little men with footwork close to the line, hunting and weaving, they're hard to handle. Great play. They got the penalty right down the other end with Perrott. They took a tap, would you believe? Up they came. Another penalty with a hand on the ball. And nothing structured about that. Just little men on big guys.
Ohio the try, so it's 3 tries apiece now. Kiwis with a chance now to take the lead for the 2nd time tonight.
How about the blood running through Isaac Luke's body, kicking in a World Cup final? How cool, how calm. His action will be a little bit quicker. Needs to feed it out to the right to compensate for that, as it will pull left.
Great competitor, great hairstyle, and a great kick at goal. And the Kiwis regain the ascendancy here in Brisbane. New Zealand 18, Australia 16 after 51.
DJ, you talk about being unorthodox. This is what these guys do every week throughout the regular season. Lance Hohaya, he leads, I think he's 2nd in the tackle break and line breaks for the New Zealand Warriors. He does it every week. You go back to Benji's run. How many times have we seen him do that for the Tigers as well?
Lockyer sends us into the next passage of play. Catch from the man who scored the try, Hohaya, and he will take the tackle here. And we have less than half an hour to go in Rugby League's international showpiece. The World Cup final coming your way live from the River City, the Queensland capital of Brisbane. And what a game we've got. A lot of pundits expecting the Aussies to blow the Kiwis off the park. Well, so much for that theory. Perrott plays it back. They miss out Eastwood. They keep it going out wide. And Sikamano looks to bust them now. A couple of metres short, crawling towards the halfway line. They get a roll on, don't they? This is Mannering now. And now a clearing kick from Feen. Maybe some pressure on Williams. Could work out well for New Zealand. Bouncing ball towards the sideline. Vartuve back in field. It's play on. It's still in the field of play. It's still the last. Marshall gets a second kick away. It's a shocker, and it's gobbled up by Williams.
But it was a great set of 6 goals. So look at this.
Oh my goodness, I don't believe it. The Wolfman. Someone needs to send him to the cave because he's had a shocker. He looks dazed. He looks, well, in Disneyland. But the Kiwis will get the football back after that.
A brilliant set of 6. They started that off their own goal line, and this is the end of it. Williams, he'll charge it back at Benji. They suspend him, Manu does, and take him over in goal. He lands awkwardly and whacks his melon on the ground. He'll be seeing some stars.
Well, you've also just had your first insight to where the Wolfman meets the Beast as well. And we all know who came off on that one. Now's an interesting time for the Kangaroos. Here's a football side that carry this burden of expectation of being world champions. How will they respond?
Marshall to row party. Chance to build pressure here. Take out some of the fuel in the fuel tanks of the Australians. Blair. Opportunity. And we'll play it back on the 30. Luke to Eastwood. On the 20. Luke goes to Feen. Now to Hohaya. Mannering's got the Steeden. He cuts back in field. Thurston downstairs. Tupou up the top. Now with Feen. A dummy. Back on the inside. Rapira beats one. Pops the ball out. It was a low percentage play, it must be said. And Greg Inglis has got it all under control for the Kangaroos.
Straight to the arms of Inglis. And now Australia feel the heat of some defence as well. Good work. Eastwood right over the top. Rapira has had a whale of a game. This will hurt. A penalty.
And listen to the heckling for Ashley Klein. They're giving him a bit of curry. They finally get a penalty. The 9-time world champions. Kiwis yet to win the World Cup. 2-time runner-up. 2 balls on the field. The play is allowed to continue. This is Kite. On tackle 1. Sivana Siva. Fijian born, Brisbane bred. Thurston, a dummy. And almost coming through the other side was Watmo. And the Manly back rower provides a quick play of the ball. Smith, Lockyer, now a switch, back to Gallen. The Cronulla lock forward, takes them on, looks to come through the other side, and he's 6 metres away. Anxious moments now for Kearney's Kiwis. A show and go from Thurston, and he's lost the football! Jonathan Thurston, him of all people, he's dropped the lollies.
Again, he's just held on a little too long, waiting for it to unfold in front of him. New Zealand, they'd even given up big yards, and the tackle, Farlongo grasses him in a conventional tackle. And Jonathan Thurston not happy with himself. Not his first error for the night either. The attack, a little bit astray, not quite as clinical as we've seen through this World Cup. Is that their build-up? Was it too easy?
Feen with the put in, and Vartuve coming in off the wing to help out. And so he should with that bulky frame of his. Legs like tree trunks. Why wouldn't you? And this bloke's not too shabby in that department either. Momu. Perrott now with a scamper from dummy half. He's done well tonight.
He's done well in every match he's played. He's been their best player.
Luke. 8 short of halfway. Mannering it, acting half. Rapira. He is restrained, 5 short of the midway stripe. Referee Klein has the arm extended, hence the kick off the boot of Feen. Will he find the line? Not this time. Billy Slater cuts it off. Now he winds up, Gets away from Fiend, gets away from another would-be tackler. Great kick return from arguably the #1 player on the international scene as we speak, and backed up by Monahan.
Big yards for 2 tackles. The New Zealand defensive line had him pushed up. Slater made them pay first, and then Monahan. They've got themselves together now. Jeremy Smith on the field should strengthen that area. He's just had a breather, just entered his way back into the field of play.
Seven Asiba gets rid of one. Lost a boot in the process. That won't stop the big man. Lockyer to Thurston. Thurston with a step, almost went through. Round the bootlaces was Luke. Tackle that had to be made. Smith, Lockyer down the short side. There's the kick. Ohio has it under control. Will he get back? Will he get back? It's touch and go. No! They have pinned him. They've pinned him in the end goal. And 6 more coming up for the Roos.
Smart play from Lockyer. Praying for Lance that he'd get back in goal or the ball would go dead. The way Australia have played this match, you would have expected them possibly to run it. They've wanted to entertain, they've wanted to play, but a cool head from the captain. Besides, I'll just put one close to the line. We'll make them play at it. We might get a repeat sack.
Restart coming up off the boot of Benji Marshall, the former Gold Coast schoolboy. Taken on the full by Monahan. And Kite, a man who was called upon by Ricky Stewart to fill the void left by Warriors captain Stephen Price. Watmo always seems to be full of running, doesn't he?
Important change here for New Zealand coming up as Luluwai's walking the sideline. Hasn't been used since the start of the match.
Smith, Thurston to Lockyer. They're set. And here's Stewart pouring through a hole, squeezing the pass, and Folau, has he got the ball down? He's gone so close, they'll have to check the tape. Bodies everywhere, but Folau may well have put the Kangaroos back in front in what is turning out to be a seesawing affair.
Body language of Lockyer and Slater would suggest no. They haven't gone straight back, they've gone back to their positions. It was a marvellous run out wide, and then the pickup as well from Folau. Not a lot of opportunity. That was the pickup. Lance O'Hire, does he suspend some sort of weight underneath his knees in that position? He does. He does. Great work. Pat on the head. He says, yes, I know. Look at that. He's actually jumped in the air to get his knees underneath. The repeat set of 6. New Zealand stretched. Ruben Wiki in the blue shirt there. He says, no way, boys.
I'm sure that'll carry a lot of weight with the man upstairs. But it does look to be a fait accompli, does it not? Steve Ganson, well, he's earned his paycheck tonight. I'll give him that.
I tell you what the New Zealanders have done there is they've earned themselves a breather as we get confirmation. They needed a breather too.
So Folau will be instructed to play the football back here. 10 metres, the obligatory 10 metres off the goal line after being held up. In a tangle of bodies. Cameron Smith to Thurston, now to Kite. Backing into the defence. Smith is there to shut him down, and Blair over the top makes sure of it. Getting help from Kalis, 12 metres away. Thurston, the Cowboys captain, to Lockyer. There's the kick. Oh, beautifully read. Great read it was from Perrott, but he's in reverse. He's in reverse. He's trapped. No, he's not. He's out of jail. He got the key. He gets a penalty, and the Kangaroos can't believe it.
They're going off. Gallen. Smith. He must have caught Hill. Picked up so well. Wow, fortuitous, I will say.
And Thomas Luluwai comes into the game. Well, you talk about doing your homework. Well, the coaching staff, there's a big tick.
2 occasions we saw the pet play. It came on the right-hand side. When you get 2 together, Thurston and Lockyer, plenty of decoys. Well, if you've done your homework, you know what they're going to play, and you're there to meet them, and they did exactly that. Isaac Luke just walking past and a big smile. He's got a haircut to go with the game that needs to play big as well.
Coming up to the 1 hour mark of the World Cup final of 2008. And what a game it's been. No sign of that forecasted storm that was perhaps going to bear down on Brisbane tonight, and what has been a terrible week for the people of southeast Queensland. Only storm on the field of the ones from this storm. 7 out of 12 for the Aussies. Just 3 left for Stephen Kearney. Kalis, it's a fair run. He offloads too.
His best run of the tournament with an offload.
Smith was supporting him. There's Marshall providing the kick. And Slater, his confidence is sky high. Oh! He's had a brain explosion! And Benji Marshall! Benji boy has pounced! He can't believe it! Christmas is still 5 weeks away, but he thinks Santa Claus is here at the cauldron. It's the Kiwis at 22-16. I can't believe what I have just seen.
Look at the tape. Did so well to get there on the thorn. Remember a little fumble we had in the first half there? Well, he took Manu on. It just got a couple of paws on his shoulder. Stays in the field of play. Passes it back to no one. And guess who's there? Number 6, Benji Marshall. He says, I'll just run it out to the sideline. I won't put it down straight away. I'll make it nervous. Unbelievable. Billy Slater. What a year he's had. In this moment, he chooses to come up with something like that.
Well, I dead set reckon a firecracker has gone off between his ears.
That's how he plays the game, Costo. That, in a way, what makes him so great. He chances his arm.
Well, he certainly brings people through the turnstiles. That's what we do know.
How about that? Less than a minute ago, a call for New Zealand on their own try line when Ohio seemed to be pushed back in goal. And now, courtesy of a good set of 6 and a bizarre passage from Slater.
Well, that's a big turnaround. And, of course, this kick, look at Slater. You've got to think what's going through his mind. Ronnie Palmer, the evergreen Ron Palmer, the Australian trainer. I'm sure there's been some words of encouragement go out from Ricky Stewart and the likes of Alan Langer and company, John Cartwright. But this is a big kick coming up in the context of the final. Arguably the biggest kick of the series. I don't want to put too much pressure on Marshall, but you've got to call it as you see it. They lead by 6, and it will stay at 6. 22-16 after a shot try to Marshall.
And didn't we see this last week up against England in the dying minutes of the game when Benji Marshall again in perhaps a fortunate position to be able to seize an opportunity, and he ended the game with the result. He got the 4-pointer, and again today.
That's a horror movie for Slater and the Kangaroos. 62 gone and a bit. And New Zealand, with their tails up, they've kept the Australians scoreless in the opening 22 minutes of this second period. This is Blair. Grimacing. He wants a quick play the ball. Klein will not oblige. And now Lulawai will go for a dart from dummy half. Kalis again doing the heavy lifting. Crowd groaning, not impressed. On the last, Fiend got the kick away. And Slater, you can bet he'll steer clear of the sideline. You betcha. He comes towards the midway stage of the park. He went straight towards one of those big signs across the ground. He wasn't going nowhere near that sideline.
Well, now the composure of this Australian team. Many have called it the greatest assembled to date as Sivanasiva hits it by. This is where Lockyer needs to step up. Thurston hasn't had a match that he'll be proud of, but Lockyer is going to take control.
The Australians on an 8-game Trans-Tasman winning streak. Will it come to a halt tonight? Here's Thurston back on the inside. Watmo. He's lost the ball. It's been ripped out. Ripped out is the call. Luluwai is far from impressed.
Good tackle from Kalis down below. Luluwai, the helping hand. Well, leave it at that.
A good call from the referee. Klein Johnny on the spot to make the call. And now big set coming up. Big set. This is Stewart. He's enjoyed a boom season with Manly, New South Wales, and now Australia. There's a punch-up, or would-be punch-up in back play. We'll stick with the action. This is LaFranchi, 3 metres away. On their own goal line, New Zealand. And here they go with Lockyer over the top, and Inglis will score. It's Superman himself. And Inglis goes in. And here come the Kangaroos. 15 to go, and they trail by 2.
Costly mistake, the repeat set of 6. And then Perrott on the outside. He's made many a good decision and had a good game. He made his decision to come in too early. You watch him. Lockyer saw him there and just knew he had him covered. 2 on the outside. Inglis or Monahan. You get that. Perrott needed to hold himself a little bit more. Could have had more time to make the decision. And they don't stop this one. They were never going to stop them all in any case. A good thing, the kick is out wide.
Inglis, who set up that breathtaking try for Gasnier in the centenary test at the cricket ground in Sydney earlier in the year. And check this out. A call to arms for the men in black. They still lead the game. Big kick coming up now. Ruben Wiki in the middle, having a lot to say. The game there to be won and lost. The trophy there to be won and lost. Test match number 13 for Inglis. One of the real superstars of the modern game. And Jonathan Thurston, if you wanted to put the kettle on, now's the time. Get that billy going. Bundaberg Rum getting plenty of coverage tonight thanks to Thurston. The clock is ticking away. Now it's been stopped. We can confirm that, but it took some time, did it not?
He will be loving this, Jonathan Thurston. He loves a challenge, loves the big moment, sets himself for the big stage.
Well, you of all people, you'd know that kickers, they live for this moment, these moments. They live for it.
Will we get a banana bender?
One of only a select band of players to chalk up 50 points in a Rugby League World Cup. He's got 50 for this series. Here he goes from way out on the sideline. He's missed it. Never even looked like going between the uprights. So it's still the Kiwis by 2 after 67.
The Kiwi defence side, they knew this play. They were able to withstand it coming down the right-hand flank through Folau while they went back to the left-hand side. Whenever you get a back row, in this case it was LaFranchi, sets it up, Thurston and Lockyer come together. You've got to be able to make the right decisions.
Back underway off the boot of Marshall. 4 tries apiece. Goal kicking has proved the difference thus far, and my goodness, buckle up. It was LaFranchi on the receiving end. Now Sivanasiva winding up the big man from the Penrith Panthers. Well accustomed to Suncorp from his days with the Broncos. And Gallen, he loves the rough stuff. A rough and tumble player from way back.
Easy yards, but no penalties.
Stewart beats 1, but that's it. 2 changes left for Kearney. 4 for Stewart. Sivanasiva again putting his hand up at the back end of the match.
Great tackle from Luluwai there. Little guy and big guy stopped him in his tracks.
Luluwai, they couldn't stop the kick. And it's Hohaya who'll be picked off. Watmo getting down there. Good chase, leading the kick chase.
Had a mongrel of a bounce too. Lance picked it up well. Perrott can't make too many yards this time, courtesy of Thurston.
This is certainly a different Kiwi side to what we saw on that opening weekend. The Suncorp surface taking a pounding, and this is not going to help the Australian cause. Contentious decision from Ashley Klein. He might need a police escort, Ropo, to get out of Suncorp tonight.
Well, it was a timely penalty as well, because you sense that the Kangaroos were looking to lift the tempo, lift the pace. So their line speed was going a little bit overboard, a little on top, while Klein, he had other plans.
So here we go, New Zealand into enemy territory. 8-4 the penalty count tonight. I'm sure that'll be the subject of some discussion, whatever happens here in the final 12 minutes.
They need to continue to attack Costo. No good hitting one up.
Lulawai, Marshall, looking for runners, scheming as always. Fa'alongo will play it back. Blair at first receiver, prop to prop, Kalis to Fiend, and now across to Bronson Harrison, off to the Canberra Raiders next year, and he is shut down. Smothering defence from the Australians. Jeremy Smith looking to burrow his way towards the goal line. On the 20, the last has been signalled. They go to Marshall, a switch. Fiend, now a kick, a chase from Hohaya, a bouncing ball. Hohaya's been taken out. Slater's got the football. Surely we're going to have some drama here. Kalis is blowing up, and so he should.
I'm telling you, Monahan, who's missed the ball, has taken Hohaya out. Loves getting himself involved as our Lance Hohaya. He trailed the kick on the inside of Fiend. He's onside, no problem. Now watch the bounce. I called a mongrel of a bounce to Hohaya before. Monahan gets one right on the end, grabs it, and now he plays the man.
Well, there's no guarantee he would have got there to get his hands on the football, but he's certainly been taken out. I don't think it's going to be a penalty try from Steve Ganson, but it will be more ammunition for the Kiwis and more pressure on the Kangaroos. Could even be a professional foul and 10 in the bin.
Costo, all I know is you've got a ball that's over the line. All you've got is Lance Hohaya in frame. There's the ball. It's a metre in front of him. And you tell me, no try?
I'm telling you that Slater's there, and you can't be sure it would have been a try.
Slater was in the frame. I'll give you that. It's a blatant mistake. He'll get 10 for sure.
It won't be a penalty try, and I reckon, though, you're right, Chook. Monahan's going to go to the sideline here. He will not be on the field after this.
Boy, oh boy. When the outside backs, Hohaya, Slater, Manu Vatuvai, when those guys are involved, you got excitement plus.
Well, Steve Ganson is watching plenty of replays tonight. He must have a great DVD collection. In the UK, of course, they've got the clock on them. Maybe that's something that the Antipodean officials need to look at.
Well, I guess then the decision is, what do you do with the penalty? You take the 2, you extend the lead to 4.
So Steve Ganson from the UK, from the Super League. Big call, massive call, penalty try! I don't believe it! Holy dooly, that has put the cat amongst the pigeons. The biggest cat at that. Sylvester's been let loose.
Let me tell you, the big thing about this penalty try is the kickers from in front. That makes it 8. Unbelievable. Didn't think it would go that way. As you people at home in New Zealand wouldn't it as well. But they will be up by 8 with 10 to go.
The big play in there is you got someone called Steve Ganson in the video ref. You got Ashley Klein. So you got 2 Northern Hemisphere people involved. Anything is likely to happen.
Oh, we're going to hear more about this. I'm not sure where the video referee is. They had a lot of security here at the ground tonight. I thought APEC was on. They may well need them at full time. Straightforward kick, as you call it, Chook. And Marshall has added the extras. I can confirm that Monahan is still on the ground. The penalty try's been given. It's 28-20.
Guys, I've got Bennett and Kearney about 2 boxes down from us, and they're screaming messages into the walkie-talkie. Unbelievable.
And the big play here came from the switch by Benji Marshall to go back to the short side, and then Nathan to play the right call.
Shallow restart, clean catch from Vartuve. Inglis, or rather Folau, beg your pardon, was looking for it. Maybe he got checked. Shook, you seem to think so as well.
They didn't tidy up a short kick-off last week against England, so they would have been practicing it for sure.
This is Eastwood. I beg your pardon. Carmichael Hunt's come on the ground finally. Jeremy Smith, I beg your pardon, it is who plays it back. Just sort of taken aback by the arrival of Carmichael Hunt. I was going to ask the question, where's he been? Catching a cold. 8.5 to go. He's into the battle. One heck of a battle at that. This is Blair. You can feel the Kiwis with at least a couple of fingers on the trophy at the very least. Now, Fiend going to the heavens. This will bring down Hale. Ball's been jolted free. Slater's got the scraps. It went backwards for mine, hence it's play on. And the Aussies now will play it 15 out from their own line.
It was the right play. Contested the football as well, was Parent. Inglis to play it.
Seven Acevo, nothing fancy. Ricky Stewart, changing his underpants, I would have thought. They swing it wide. He's under the pump. He's not used to this situation, is he? Nor the players. Folau, Slater, Thurston. Here we go. Thurston pins the ears back, looks to go through, has been angle tapped, and has lost the football.
Unbelievable. Jeremy Smith is the man. He scored a try, the opening try for New Zealand under the post, and then comes up with a marvellous lunge at Jonathan Thurston. Slater into it, the dummy, the show, and watch Smith. He just dives out and just gets him. From there, he knocks on.
Thing is
Desperation.
knocked on as he hit the deck. Maybe the touch judge on that eastern side of the ground had a better look at it.
Stephen Kearney talks a lot about the little plays becomes big plays. Well, there's a Storm performance there in Jeremy Smith. A nice little touch. While you think now for the Kangaroos aside, their psyche is very different. We heard from David Kidwell at halftime about the Kiwis. It's about patience. They can afford to be patient with 8 to go, not to clock off, but to be patient. The Kangaroos, on the other hand, they're seeing something that many expected for them to pick up at the end of the 80-minute mark, starting to slip away. Their mindset, very, very different.
Well, certainly slipping away for Lockyer, his 45th cap. This is Fiend going now to Bronson Harrison. Will he promote the football? He'll be put away by Monahan and Inglis. Did he lose the footy? Yes, he did. A little knock on. They all count. He throws the football away in disgust.
Tit for tat. The quick scrum is set from Australia. Great play. They've gone down this channel a lot tonight. Mannering's been out there. He's had some good charges down there.
Oh, look,
there's a hand in there.
He's worked the ball. Monahan's
Monahan.
He's worked the ball 5 metres from the touch judge, and he's got away with it.
Haven't had too many calls, I'll say that, Australia. New Zealand have had plenty.
Have they what? 9-7 the error count, haunting the Aussies. I would have thought in the context of this. Monahan crabbing across the ground, goes to Thurston, they pick him off. He's been mopped up by Row Party. Lockyer at dummy half. Slater to Israel Folau. Gidley type flick across to Williams. Back on the inside, and Smith's got the intercept. He's got the football, and he's storming towards the goal line. 6 minutes to go. The margin's 8. And the Kangaroos are on the rack. New Zealand on course for their first ever.
Don't call it Costa, I won't let you.
On course, I say. Read the fine print. This is Blair, 11 away. Kalis, the scoreboard and the timepiece becoming the enemy of the Australians and the friend of the Kiwis. This is Marshall. Harrison in 12 goes to ground. Thurston's there to greet him. Mannering fires at the Fiend. He's under siege. He got it out the back door. Marshall steadies, kicks. Vartuve says, give me the ball. Bouncing ball, stacks on the mill. Now some soccer, and Blair will plant the football. He plays to the whistle, claims 4 points, but not surprisingly, we've got to check the tape because that seemed to be a knock-on-a-thon.
Well, when Fiend ran the ball on the last and couldn't get the kick in, there was no better person to give it to than Benji Marshall. Onside, out wide. Manu, we know he's going to go up. We're waiting for the clean take. Hits it, does it go forward there? No. There. Who does it come off? Well, we will need a super slow-mo to see the ricochets. Ball, that's backwards.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. Well,
that's off the knee.
Well, it was a knock-on against Williams.
Williams knocks on. That's kicked into an Australian. This rebounds.
You know what? I've got a funny feeling we're going to get a green light here.
New Zealand's had many calls tonight, Costo. I'll let you call it if they give it this one.
That's most gracious of you, Chook.
No knock on there.
Well, David Farlongo was in a position to knock on, but I reckon he has not knocked on. How he didn't knock on's beyond me.
A clean air swing. What about the nonchalant pickup of Adam Blair?
He's dead set had Tarzan's grip in that right mitt. I reckon they've applied it just a couple of minutes ago, judging from that pickup.
Asking for that shot suggests that they want to go back to the ball going knocked on from Manu.
This is a pinball machine. I'll tell you what, Steve Ganson, I hope he's got the fan and the aircon going flat out here in Brisbane.
Will you watch this crowd go off if this is given green?
Well, I'm not sure how they can deny it after looking at all these replays.
Now they're checking the ground.
Well, you know what that means. You didn't come down in the last shower.
Ropo, you get ready by the bench down there, because that New Zealand bench, it'll go 10 foot high.
Have a look at Bennett. Have a look at Bennett. And Kearney, he just can't bear to look at this. He's probably said to Wayne Bennett, you just let me know what the call is, if the crowd doesn't. Here we go. It is a try. The Rugby League world is being turned on its head in this World Cup final. It's the Kiwis now in the box seat at 32-20. And I will call it. They've got one hand, one big hand, maybe another finger or two on the trophy.
Come on, Peter, I'm out of breath. The kick was great. Up he went, Manu.
I'm going to give you something here. Speaking to the Kiwi team manager prior to kickoff, he tried to register on a seat home on an Air New Zealand flight tomorrow the name T. Rofi, but they wouldn't allow him to do it. So I think they're just going to sneak it in their bag. Well done. On your way.
Oh, yes, Benny boy. You can get excited.
Maybe he'll sign my book for me now.
Well, there'll be another one coming out after this episode. Here's all these people weeks ago, even this week, saying the trophy should have been engraved a month ago. Marshall has got it. Everyone seemed to think it was a one-horse race. Well, who's laughing now? The Kiwis at 34-20 in front of 50,599. And Ropo, a lot of them can't believe what they are seeing in Brisbane tonight. The Barmy Army, I tell you what, talk about swapping sides. And Ropo's gone to the pharmacist to get a tablet.
I know he'll be going to the TAB tomorrow.
The Kangaroos now on a hiding to nothing. Don't forget the Rugby League World Cup website, www.RLWC08.com. There'll be a lot of fallout to this one.
Forget about the fallout from this one. I'm just going to clock off. I need to get down the TAB real quick. I'm going to help T. Rofi get home.
Give him my regards. And I'll tell you what, the bench warmers, they must be thinking they're in fairyland here.
Just the 3 minutes to go. New Zealand, they'll have a comeback in the cricket tomorrow. They'll score 300, no problem. The way we're feeling out of this match.
Well, you are getting cocky now. You are getting cocky. Here's Williams. Well, this is the longest 2.5 minutes in modern day history for the Kangaroos, excluding that Tri-Nations disaster at Allen Road 3 years ago.
And Costa, I know it's only one game, but it is the World Cup final. Ricky Stewart was offered the job for life at the beginning of this game. I wonder if that will still hold.
We'll find out, won't we? He failed in front of the press conference yesterday. Maybe he was a bit confident too. Inside the final 2 minutes of the series, and New Zealand ready to collect their first ever Rugby League World Cup. Now some argy-bargy, a bit of frustration from the Kangaroos. This script for them has gone horribly wrong. But what a night, what a joyous night. The parties, well, may they start right now, coming up to midnight. Who's going to turn into a pumpkin tonight?
Marvellous in all their wildest dreams. It's Lulawai, Anthony Grown as a player. The start of the World Cup, he was copping it from everywhere. Now he's dishing it out. They're not finished. There's Rue on offer.
Maybe we've seen some wonderful games here at this stadium. 83, 87, and this is one of them.
Here's Slater still trying at the death. The pass goes across into touch. It's purely academic. It has been for some time, and this is quite mind-blowing. The Kiwis on top of the world for the first time ever, and a crash and burn night for the Kangaroos.
They're celebrating early. Just the one scrum to go. 40 seconds. I'm sure Australia too don't really want to see this 40 seconds out. But them the rules. Much maligned. Everyone wondered where it would come from. It's come from a collective effort. A lot of mistakes from Australia. And some guts and determination.
Yeah, especially after they were down 10-0 at one stage. And Australia led 16-12 at the break. What a second-half performance it has been from the Kiwis. A commanding second-half display at that. Final 30 seconds. And he's one of us now, if he wasn't previously. Wayne Bennett.
Imagine his feelings. A pretty proud Australian as well, Costo.
It's a night that New Zealand Rugby League followers will want to continue and not stop. A dream has come true. The unthinkable has happened, and the Kiwis are on top of the world at long last. It's taken 54 years, but they've finally done it here in Brisbane tonight. An historic occasion. 34 points to 20. Amazing scenes. What a night.
It's pandemonium down here, and I'm joined by very proud New Zealand coach Stephen Kearney. Steve, congratulations.
Thanks, Matty. It was the lads just, it was a wonderful effort by them tonight. We came here with a real specific plan, and we put them in a place that they're not used to, and we got the goods tonight.
Obviously 22-4 in the second half. Now, what did you say at half time?
Yeah, mate. It was just a matter of making sure that we kept them in the arm wrestle and played to our tempo. And we knew we would get opportunities. And the first 15 minutes of that second half was real important. And I'm just overwhelmed, mate. Wonderful.
Mate, on behalf of everyone, congratulations on the way you've turned that side around. Well done, Woods. Congratulations.
Nathan, it's obviously a dumb question, but you finished the answer.
Mate, it's unbelievable. I can't put words to what I feel right now. Like, all the sacrifices the boys have made over, throughout the tournament, and our partners at home as well, and oh mate,
Mate, does it get any bigger though? Yeah, you build up to something. No one gave you a chance.
Well, no one really gives a chance, but the belief within the side. We knew that we were going to build right from day one, and you know, we've done that. And you know, a lot of people said we had nothing to lose tonight, but we had the World Cup to lose. But I think we just wanted it more. You know, we got out there and you know, we were sensational.
Go and enjoy, bro. It was a big one.
Thomas, the key to this whole tournament was brothers. Your brothers are just now called world champions. How does that feel right now?
Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise, man. It was an awesome effort, mate. Like, some of the boys put in, man. And, man, it's special, man, I don't say. It's special.
I mean, right at the beginning, Stephen Kearney this week laid out the plan. Did it go perfectly?
Yeah, pretty much, man. We want to try something different and try to put a bit of pressure on their ball players. And you see Thurston and Lockyer, you know, the boys done it well. And, man, you got to give credit to Mooks and to Wayne, man. Everyone read us off and they got us up and got us up.
Look, that haka, the response to the haka, did that really start to put a sting in your tail when they came at you?
Oh, mate, we always knew it was going to be hard, you know, whether that happened or not, man. But,
Thomas, get back. Congratulations, you're a world champion, mate.
Okay, Jeremy, Stephen just called world champion.
Yep. Oh.
The town's yours.
The town is ours for one night only. I think, you know, all respect to the Aussies, but, you know, we wanted it more than they did, and we just showed it tonight.
Mate, you talk about self-belief throughout this tournament. Was there any stage throughout this game that you were starting to doubt your ability, you were having confidence?
Belief's a funny thing, you know. If you have 17 players that believe in what we can do, you know, we can go a long way as what you've seen tonight. And, you know, I know I never stop believing. Every game I go and play, you know, I always have belief that we come out on top. And just showed tonight, the 17 of us that played, you know, out of their skins, and that's what we had to do to beat the Aussies.
Well done, buddy. World champion. Well done.
Cheers. Thank you.
Oh, the pictures tell the story, don't they? They tell a hell of a story. Who would have predicted this? Let's go sideline once more, and Stephen Kearney is with Stephen.
World Cup winning coach.
Yeah, again, it's not so much about me, you know, it's about the players. You know, they're absolutely wonderful tonight. We came here with a real specific plan, and you know, they carried it out.
When did you know you had it?
Yeah, I still don't. I know. I probably still don't realise. But again, when we're 14 points ahead with about 4 minutes to go, I had the luxury of coming down early, which is always a good sign.
Well, mate, I know it's busy time. Trophy got to be presented. Congratulations, world champions, New Zealand.
Yeah, it's a good title, isn't it?
Well done, mate.
Thank you. Cheers. Thanks.
Well, I think the way he's conducted himself in those interviews says it all. It's a surreal feeling for the coach, the fans, the players, on both sides. You see Stephen Price there and what could have been. Nathan Kalis. They won't be backward and coming forward for interviews, the Kiwis tonight. Well, I want this night to continue for the rest of their lives. The Australians looking shell-shocked, and the Kiwis still pinching themselves. 34-20, an incredible scoreline. Let's go downstairs once more, and Ropo's with another happy Kiwi. Couple of them, in fact.
I've just found my two brothers, Manu and Jerome. Wonderful moment for you both.
First of all, I'd just like to say happy birthday to Jay. It was his birthday today, and it's a good present to give to him, and I'm pretty proud of him. He played well this today, and we've just got to celebrate now.
Jerome, yeah, certainly making a habit of finding the 4-pointers in these test matches.
Yeah, you know, it's on the credit to the boys. I guess we just hung in there. You know, we're under the pump a few times, and we kept believing. And, you know, the bounce of the ball sort of went our way most of the time, and that's how we got the scoreline. I'm just glad it's over, and we'll come away with the cup.
Mate, we saw some shots prior to the game, and you formed a huddle, and it looked as though there was a prayer going on. There was something special in this football team.
Yeah, you know, we sort of just talked about what we're going to do. We sort of just poured our heart in the huddle and knew that this is the last game we're going to ever play together. It's the last chance we're ever going to get at the World Cup, you know, in many years. So it's pretty special, considering we did it for the first time.
And when did you know that it was yours?
Oh, I think when Adam Blair scored the try and we were about 14 points up, I think it was. You know, we sort of knew it was going to be hard for them. You know, it lifted us up, and our defense, no one was going to penetrate our defense from there on. And well, you know, congratulations to the Aussies. You know, they gave it to us, and just credit to our boys and our coaching staff.
Well done, Jerome. Well played, bro.
Cheers, Ron.
6 tries to 5, including that penalty try to Hohire, who grabbed 3 tonight. A red letter night for the Hunley Hurricane. It's a night to cry, a night to cherish, a night to remember. Williams being consoled by the Australian team management.
Momentum is a marvellous thing, Costo. It started with the withdrawal of Tate and Price, and it affected the structure of the Australians a little, and then the game seemed to come and go in a flash. And everyone remembers marvellous parts of it, and New Zealand have prevailed.
And these storms, of course, forcing the teams to train elsewhere and change their schedule at the last minute. It's been an amazing week here in Brisbane. Well, let's go to Stephen. He's with the great Ruben Wiki, who'll be lapping this up.
In Ruben's terms, he said to me on Monday night, you're the OG, the old guy, is that right?
I'm the OG, Steve.
Mate, I saw you give Stephen Kearney an incredibly emotional hug. Can I ask you what you said to him?
I just told him I loved him, and just thanked him for getting me involved in this. And it was different, but I really enjoyed it.
What does it mean to you?
Oh, man, a real chance, mate. And it's a long time coming since the last World Cup, and we got them in 05 and we got me here today, and I took the supporters back home, to my wife and kids. We hope tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Well, mate, it's a new breed rising, some might say, with this Kiwis outfit. They're a young side.
Mate, it's either going to be here for a long time, mate, and this blue shirt, I give forever them up.
Well, mate, let me just say, I'm sure the carver will be going and going and going. Will they allow that on Air New Zealand on the way back?
Oh, I'll have enough in my system to get through.
All right, well, as Peter said, you've got to reserve a seat for T. Rofi as well. Well done, mate.
You're right, brother.
There he is, the king of carver. And the Kiwis, they just don't want to leave the ground, do they? Presentation or not, there could be no presentation. I reckon they'd be just basking under the stars here tonight. Well, boys, I'll tell you what, surely you're pinching yourselves. I know you thought, well, we're a chance to get the cash here tonight, but you knew that this was going to be some big ask, but they have climbed Mount Everest tonight, the Kiwis.
Well, there you go. We're still waiting for the presentation, and I've got to admit, standing on the sideline here when the score was climbing, Pete, I frankly am still a little stunned. Well, I know you're thinking about your TAB check that you're going to think, but honestly, the way they finished the Kangaroos off was the stunning part of this night.
Well, what I enjoyed were some of the moments when you saw the coaching staff, Wayne Bennett and Steve Kearney, come to the field of play, and the way that they were met and embraced by their players, something quite special. And even some of the scenes that were seen throughout on the football field post, they've been wonderful moments. This is a football side, and Dean Bell said to me at the beginning, they are confident, and he just reminded me, what did I tell you? They were that confident that they had the game to win tonight.
We have to think about these poor guys behind us, because they come in with the extra pressure of having expectation of playing against themselves. Ron Palmer, their trainer, said they're not playing the Kiwis, they're playing against themselves, and this enormous weight of expectation. You have to feel for them, because they said, we'll be remembered as the team that went as the hottest favourites ever and didn't win the one that counted.
Well, that's the unfortunate thing of being in the position that they are, as being one of the best. But you also come to a game of footy, and that's sport on any given day. And that's why many people out there, despite the fact that Kangaroos were hot favourites, were reluctant to go and put $1 million on them, because it's sport.
All right, well, let's get into the presentation, because very shortly the New Zealanders are going to raise the flag and get the trophy.
Cup in Rugby League's centenary year. What an incredible result tonight. New Zealand world champions defeating Australia 34 points to 20. I'd like to start tonight by welcoming our official party on stage here at Suncorp Stadium. And first of all, Mr. Colin Love, the chairman of the Rugby League International Federation and Rugby League World Cup Tournament Director. The Honourable Anna Bligh, the Premier of Queensland. Mr. Richard Lewis, Deputy Chairman of the Rugby League International Federation and Chairman of the RFL. And finally, Ray Hampton, Chairman of the New Zealand Rugby League. Well, what a wonderful tournament, ladies and gentlemen. 10 teams, 18 games in 12 venues, and over 250,000 supporters right along the east coast of Australia. And one winner, New Zealand tonight winning their first World Championship, 34 points to 20. Congratulations to Stephen Kearney and the Kiwis. But first, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to call on stage the match officials. We'd like to congratulate them as well. Right throughout the tournament, they've been wearing pink, which is a wonderful gesture, raising awareness for the Breast Cancer Foundation. Would you please welcome on stage Ashley Klein, the referee, the sideline officials, Steve Chitty and James Child. Shane Hayne also on stage. Well done to our match officials, and like I said, it's fabulous to see them wearing pink throughout this tournament in support of the Breast Cancer Foundation. Well, tonight, our Jetstar man of the match will be a popular winner here at Suncorp Stadium. He scored 2 tries tonight, the captain of the Kangaroos, Darren Lockyer. Well, Darren, congratulations, the Jetstar man of the match. The Kangaroos were superb right throughout the tournament, but New Zealand too strong tonight.
Yeah, congratulations to New Zealand. I mean, I'd swap this medal any day for a win, but not to be. Just want to, yeah, again, congratulate New Zealand on a great game tonight. Thank you.
Well done to Darren Lockyer, the Jetstar man of the match tonight. He received a medal from Colin Love. And time now to announce the Jetstar player of the tournament. And again, it goes to one of the Kangaroos, the fullback for the Australian side, Billy Slater.
Yeah, just firstly like to congratulate the Kiwis. They've had a great series and they put in a big effort tonight. I'd like to thank all our boys. It's been a great camp. Sticky and all the coaching staff, you've done a great job this year, and a little bit disappointing now, but we'll move on. But thanks for everyone to turn up too. Thank you.
Congratulations to Billy Slater, the Jetstar player of the tournament. And now we need to call Darren Lockyer, the captain of the Kangaroos, back to the stage as the runner-up in the Rugby League World Cup in 2008. I'm sure there's a lot more people Darren would like to thank here at Suncorp Stadium tonight, especially the coaching staff, including Ricky Stewart. Would you please welcome back to the microphone, Darren Lockyer.
Just want to congratulate all the other countries that competed in the World Cup. They've done extremely well. I think it was a great success. Without the supporters of all the countries, we wouldn't have such an event like this. So we thank you for supporting the game. I'd also like to thank the sponsors of the tournament. Without your support, we wouldn't have this great product we've got tonight. Again, I just want to congratulate New Zealand. They said it was going to be an easy win to us, but they proved it wasn't going to be that way again, so congratulations to them.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the sweetest moment in New Zealand Rugby League history, without doubt. A magnificent trophy behind us will be presented by Anna Bligh and also Colin Love. Would you please welcome the Kiwi captain to the stage, Nathan Kalis. Well, what a night for New Zealand. He's been a part of this side for a decade, and tonight played his 38th Test match. Here he is, the captain of the Kiwis, Nathan Kalis.
What can I say? It's probably we won't see you for a while, but there's a few people that I have to thank. First of all, I thank the Australian team for an outstanding game and outstanding series. I'd like to thank the fans, our families from New Zealand, all the fans that have come to all the games right throughout the tournament. I copped a lot of criticism, but tonight we showed what a great tournament it was, and hopefully it'll be on again in 4 years. I'd like to thank the English supporters for staying. our sponsors, Pertec, thank you very much for everything. And finally to our boys, all our staff, our coach Steve Kearney, Wayne Bennett, unbelievable boys, thank you very much. Yeah!
Well, Nathan, as winning captain, you receive your medallion and then move across to the celebration stage. That will begin in just a moment. But right now, let's call the Kiwi team on stage from 1 to 24, their entire squad. We'll start with their fullback, ladies and gentlemen, who scored a couple of tries tonight, Lance O'Haya. Number 2 played his 10th test tonight, Sam Perrott. Number 3 can play in the second row but started in the centres, Simon Mannering. Number 4 has been a try-scoring machine in the Rugby League World Cup, Jerome Rupati. Well, this man has been absolutely sensational. Number 5, Manu Vatuvei. The 5'8" for New Zealand, Benji Marshall. The halfback, Nathan Thean. The hooker tonight was Thomas Lulawai, playing his 18th test for the Kiwis. Also in the front row, number 10, Adam Blair from the Melbourne Storm. The second rowers, Bronson Harrison and David Falongo, playing his 12th test tonight. And the lock forward who scored a try, Jeremy Smith. The interchange bench for New Zealand, the super sub, Isaac Luke. A man who's off to Leeds to join the Rhinos, Greg Eastwood. One of their brilliant interchange forwards, Sam Rapira, who played his 11th test tonight. And number 17, Sikamanu from the Melbourne Storm, who played his 4th test. Also a member of the Kiwi squad, Dean Hallertau. Krishna Nanu, David Kidwell, Steve Matai, who was injured early in the tournament, Jason Nightingale, Sedamata Sarr, and Ivan Tuamavave. And their coach, ladies and gentlemen, receives something very special. Stephen Kearney, the coach of the Kiwis, receives the Waterford Crystal Trophy. What a moment for Stephen Kearney, the coach of the New Zealand side, and on top of the world in 2008 as Rugby League World Cup champions. Well done to Stephen Kearney as he heads toward the celebration stage. Thanks to our official party tonight, New Zealand World Cup champions.
Well, it all started in France in 1954. It's taken them 54 years to do it. And as Nathan Fiend said a moment ago, let's not forget those who dug the well, those who've gone before them in the black jumper. And Rope, speaking of those sort of people, he's with a couple of Kiwi legends as we speak.
Well, I've got 2 wonderful former legends of the game of rugby league, and Sammy Stewart and Howie Tuberty. Howie, you talk about the turnaround from the tour in the Northern Hemisphere last year to world champions. It's a remarkable turnaround.
It's a fantastic turnaround, and a lot of hard work's gone into it, a lot of planning, a lot of preparation. You know, we live for nights like this. You know, rugby league's one of the greatest games of, you know, I love this game, and this is what I live for, mate. This is just a wonderful, just too much.
And Sammy, you took great delight in seeing a good Randwick boy take the podium there, and Stephen Kearney.
Yeah, he did a terrific job. He had a very good offsider, and Wayne Bennett, of course. But tonight was, we spent a couple of days in the camp, and when they were up here last, there was belief in the side. You know, they believed in themselves. A few supporters back here, Howie helped select the side, and we just knew that we were in with a chance. Before they knew it, Australia had probably too much belief in their side.
Does this bring back memories of '87 for you?
Oh, I'm on the other side. I know what they're feeling like, but to be world champions and to hear that song and to be we're just so proud of them. Just so proud of them.
And the Gold Coast is looking after you too, by the way.
Oh, it's going to be it's going to be a lot easier to live here for the next 12 months. Believe me.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks, man.
Well, Benji Marshall scored a defining try in this World Cup final. And Stephen, your captain's walking past, showing up honest emotion about this. How does it make you feel, mate?
Yeah, it's look, from where I've come from, all the ups and downs, it's a dream come true. You know, copped a lot of criticism during the week and that, and
they never really bashed Benji, did they?
Oh no, they didn't. So it's just great to get a win up.
Someone said to me when you lost to them in the first game, they said it doesn't matter, we'll get the one that counts.
And we did, mate. You know, that's the big game. So you know, we got it, and the rest is history, mate.
Go and celebrate, mate. World champion, mate.
Can I just say hi to my koro back home, miss you, love you, and all the family, thanks.
Yes, and so he should, and so he can. I did mention about his Gold Coast days, but of course, you see Nathan Kalis here, an emotional embrace with his father, having lost his mum not that long ago. So a special moment, an emotional charged night here for the Kalis family. But just on Benji Marshall, yes, from Whakatane in the Bay of Plenty, they'll be dancing on the streets in the early hours of Sunday morning there and everywhere else in the Shaky Isles. Let's go down to Sam Rapira. He's with Ropo.
Steve, I can't help but think throughout that game how much you've grown as a footballer.
Yeah, no, I think we had to step up a bit. You know, had a few injuries up in the forwards, so you know, a few of us young guys got the call up. So I think the only way for us to perform was to, you know, fill those boots of those older guys, and I think the boys done well.
When you talk about young guys stepping up, I also sense that very quickly you're going to become one of the seniors.
Yeah, it's a bit of a scary thing, you know, sort of still starting out our career, but you know, if that's the way things plan out, then you know that's what we've got to do.
What about some of those hits out there? It was good to be part of.
Yeah, loved every moment of it. Loved every moment of it.
Oh, well, enjoy being a world champion, buddy. Well played.
Thank you, Raj.
Cheers.
Well, there's a couple of Australian-born Kiwi boys that are lapping it up. Let's hear from Adam Blair. He's with Stephen.
Adam, world champion. How do you feel?
Outstanding, mate. Stoked. Dream come true. Just love being a part of this team and love playing with my brothers.
How good was that? The Kangaroos facing off at the haka.
Oh, mate, it was awesome. I love that shit, and I hope they keep doing that.
Congratulations, mate. You're a world champion.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Here's some spare of thought for Wayne Bennett. He toured New Zealand 37 years ago with the Australian side. I'm sure a lot of old-timers can remember that. And now he's come back to haunt the Kangaroos at the Rugby League World Cup final. A slow lap of honour here, and so it should be, Chook. They'll be lapping this up. As I said, they don't want this night to end.
What a marvellous finish to the season for New Zealand. We were in for a real treat in the NRL in the semi-final football when the Warriors made a late surge and knocked over Melbourne to create much interest for rugby league in New Zealand. And now they've capped it off after a pretty quiet World Cup series in the opening rounds. They've come and stormed, I say, and bombed Australia in the last game of the year, and they deserve to be world champions. Congratulations to them.
And you, of course, as we see this haka in the crowd, this is marvellous scenes, is it not? I was just going to ask you, Chook, about your days. You've been involved with World Cup campaigns before. Didn't quite work out the way you would have liked, but 95, those who've gone before this team, I'm sure you'd be chuffed to bits yourself.
For these guys down here on the ground, and it is about them, Costo. They've made some sacrifices, as you've heard, and they deserve to do laps. They could do 2 or 3 laps and still be content for sure. When everyone's gone home from the stadium here tonight, they'll still be happy walking around it. Such would be their exuberation, their elation to catch up with family and friends over the next day or two and to share some experiences and tales about their journeys. Well, they'll all be happy ones. Marvellous. What a Christmas for these players. Not that far away. They can all have double helpings.
Well, it's come early. It's an incredible night, 34-20. If you're still scratching your head, pinch yourself, give yourself a kick up the backside, whatever. It's been an amazing night here. New Zealand on top of the world. They've culled the Kangaroos, and the Kiwis reign supreme finally on the global stage of rugby league. What a night, Ropo and Stephen.
And doesn't that feel good when you hear the Kiwis reign supreme, sitting on top of the world, and why not? They came in as, look, heavy underdogs. Australia red hot favourites. I'm puffing because he made me run about 30 metres, but I got an indication of what it was like to run on Suncorp after a World Cup final.
You want to feel what it's like to be tackled. Hold that.
No, you pulled a hammy, but you might as well celebrate because there's not much else to say.
No, I think it's one of those occasions where often you can sort of roll out a whole lot of cliches, but the fact that it's a cliche doesn't mean that it's not true or doesn't hold true. And on this occasion, I can't think of anything better than on any given day. Yeah, we talked about the Warriors and their performance up against the Storm, and that was special. Well, to go away as world champions, the 17 that took part in tonight's performance, they can stand tall. There were moments when they looked a little nervous, but they certainly got the opportunity at halftime and they responded and they came back with some wonderful, wonderful play and well deserved.
Adam Blair said it all. I like to be part of these brothers. He threw in an expletive. We won't carry on with that one, but he said it was just an amazing brotherhood, as they have said, and we were never allowed to show you in their dressing rooms, but they have pictures of every member in family situations, and they just simply have brothers. And we saw at that one point when Australia scored, Inglis in the corner, over that way, I know I can point over that way, they got in a huddle. They were tight to the very end, and then they just rolled them.
But perhaps what's made this side even more special is about the fact that they've looked to the past to go forward. On every occasion prior to a test, they've had a former great involved in presenting the jerseys. Last night was quite a significant moment for them, in that the former great Mark Graham presented their shirts. Yeah. I spoke earlier to the likes of Sammy Stewart and Howie Tamati, how special it is for them. And that, I think, is perhaps the seed for success going forward, is look into the past to move forward and recognise those that have gone before. It's been wonderful.
Okay, all too sombre now. Time to celebrate. The immortal words of Phil Gould from Channel 9. 34-20, Kiwis are world champions. Yeah, baby, enjoy it.